You know what's kind of annoying? Knowing you had a band-aid on and at some point you lost it.
Not gonna lie, when you asked, do you know what's annoying, I thought the punchline was gonna be me.
Not what I was going for now. But I had a band-aid on and now I do not. Which means somewhere in this house there's a dirty band-aid and I cannot find it.
I feel like that is very unhygienic, Tifa.
Yeah, but I can't find it.
Yeah, still, no. In less disgusting news, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hello, Yaya. It is indeed Higurashi time. It's only been like 4 weeks.
It really has been.
Hello, Psycho. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? I bet it's in a potato salad. One of you accidentally ate.
Don't know why this is my first thought.
You have spent a lot of time with us and it shows.
I was actually thinking that.
I shall drink to that.
Oh, that seems slightly nasty.
I think if I ever eat something and suddenly I'm chewing on somebody's
Dirty band-aid.
previously used band-aid, I will not stop puking. I will just... The first minutes will be very violent, and after that it will just keep like dripping. Like it will not stop for the next 6 hours.
New fear unlocked. You'll never be able to slice the potatoes too thin, just in case you think there's a band-aid.
Hot take, 2 thin slices of potato in potato salad I don't like.
It needs to be chunks, but you never know. Like if you
I
do...
like cubes.
Yeah, that is better.
Because I grew up with it being cubed. That's how my grandmother used to make it.
I haven't had potato salad in so long.
That is true. Why don't we go buy some?
I mean, we could.
Or we could make some ourselves.
Aldi has a nice yogurt one.
Yeah, we do. Now we know what we're gonna have for dinner tomorrow. Thank you, Psycho. And then I will buy the potato salad and I will set it down. I will put some on my plate. I will take my fork. I will put the potato salad on there. I will go here and I will start gagging because I will have to keep thinking about what if I'm now accidentally chewing somebody's used band-aid.
I'm gonna put in a fresh band-aid just to see how you react.
She actually would.
Isn't that already better?
No.
We can like slowly upgrade.
No. No. But, funnily enough, that reminds me of a story that I think I've never told on stream.
About a band-aid in your food?
It's a story that combines me pissing off Tifa tremendously, Tifa being super sweet, and...
Okay, so far this seems like everyday life.
Excuse you? So, yesterday...
Could be a lot of stories.
Just before we went live, actually. No. How long... No, let me start over. What's the longest time you have spent puking consecutively?
Oh, I think I know where you're going to.
Many, many, many years ago, when we still lived with my dad, it was Christmas, and the day after, so the 25th, we had spent time with my grandparents. We had come back home, and my dad had made dinner for the next day already in preparation, because then it's easier for everybody. And Tifa decided to make brownies.
Quite sure it wasn't Christmas, but...
It was.
Yeah.
I think it was. Doesn't matter. It was late in winter, and it was a Christmassy time. Tifa had made brownies, and they were in the oven, and the whole apartment smelled of these delicious brownies. You made date brownies.
Date brownies.
Date paste in them, or dates blended into the dough.
I kid you not, those were the best brownies I ever made in my entire life, and it's been like, what, 9 years now? 10 years? 10 years, I think.
Like 12 since that happened, I think.
Oh, even like 12 years ago. And every now and then I still think of those brownies. That's how bloody good they were.
So she pops them in the oven and I'm like, my stomach feels weird. What's stopping them from making it? Me. We will get there.
Plus, I lost the recipe.
Skill issue. Absolutely. I would have stopped her otherwise. So we're home, stuff's in the oven, apartment smells of delicious brownies, and my stomach starts feeling weird. I'm like, that's not how normally my stomach hurts if I eat too much or too little or whatever. This feels weird. Tifa's like, Jack, why don't you just go lay down? Just go to sleep. You're gonna feel better when you wake up.
With fresh brownies.
And so I go to bed. And then suddenly I wake up because my stomach is turning. And before I can think of what's happening, you were laying in bed next to me. You were just waiting for brownies to be done or something. I get up, I sit straight up and projectile vomit out of my face and nose all over the bed. All over the...
sheets?
Yeah, the thing the blanket.
Your boobs?
My cleavage. The blanket, I couldn't think of the word blanket. Everywhere. I want to die inside because I just threw up everywhere with her next to me, and somebody needs to clean this up, but I also feel like I'm gonna fucking die. So I know it's not gonna be me cleaning this up anytime soon because I'm fucking dying. Tifa was the sweetest she could ever be. She patted my back, made me feel as comfortable as I could. And eventually I ran to the bathroom and threw up again. Then I went to the living room, I just laid on the couch, took a bucket along. After the second time I was empty. There was nothing left in my body. I threw up on the clock every 30 minutes for the next 6 hours. I didn't stop puking until 5:30 in the morning. Every 30 fucking minutes. No matter what I did. Whether I was sitting, whether I was laying, whether I drank water, it didn't matter. I would throw up. And then the next day I was basically dead. Nobody else in the family had it. We all ate the same things. I don't know how I got it.
Nobody ate the brownies yet, so it's not that.
I don't know what it was. But because the entire time while my body was going through whatever this was, I was smelling the brownies because they had this like super intense brownie smell. And for the next 10 years, whenever I would smell brownie, my stomach would go because in my brain, the smell of brownies and throwing up 12 times over 6 hours is like interlinked. They have the same instinct in my body. So I stopped Tifa from making brownies because I would be about to throw up if I just smelled them.
Those were so good. I gotta see if I can find the recipe again. I remember searching for it at some point. I had it written down on paper. That paper got lost. It's probably next to the USB stick with our crypto coins.
Yeah. Which you also lost. We already know I'm unreliable as hell when it comes to these things, so you only have yourself to blame, honestly.
I mean, at this point, yeah.
I would say this is a Tifa moment.
God, that still hurts. Regardless. I know it was from an Australian chef. It had date base, and I remember searching for it, but I couldn't find the recipe that seemed to be it again. I think it was in cups, and I changed it to grams.
The Conscious Plant Kitchen. I just put in Australian chef date paste brownies. This is a cup recipe.
Yeah, but it doesn't have
Doesn't
date
look
paste.
the same?
No.
Alright. I guess we're never gonna find them again.
Yeah, it's quite... I couldn't find it. I found so many, and I'm doubting whether it was a known chef or not. I think it was a woman. I'm pretty certain. Well, maybe I'll take some time tomorrow and look for it at the gym.
all day she's gonna spend at the gym now, and she's not gonna get off of the treadmill until she found that stupid recipe.
Oh look, 2 minutes in.
Oh well, time to go and make date brownies so Jack can puke his soul out again.
Oh, those are so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember taking one bite, but I couldn't. I don't remember the taste. I only remember the pain.
I mean, fair, I guess.
Have you ever thrown up 12 times in a row?
Not that I remember.
Good for you. I hope nobody ever has to go through that. It's not a fun time. After like halfway through, I realized, that's disgusting, but I don't know if it's the same for everybody else. When I was just empty and my body would start heaving, that would be very painful. So after like the 6th or 7th time, like 25 minutes after the last time, I would start drinking like 2 or 3 cups of water, because getting the water out of my system was somehow less painful than being empty. So
that's a dry heaving.
Here's my puking pro tip, everybody. Stay hydrated.
I shall remember. I have not puked in years.
I have. I was because of my own damn fault.
Actual years?
Yeah.
I can't even remember the last time I went over my neck.
You went over your neck?
Can't you say that in English?
No, you're speaking Dutch again with English words.
When you go over your neck, you're puking your guts out.
No. How do you go over your neck?
I don't know.
Figuratively, how would that work?
Well, it's technically above your neck again, I guess.
So it goes above your neck.
Well, if you say I'm going over my neck, you can also use it when you're like about to throw up or...
The wasp is back.
Where is it?
There. It went up top. If we start shrieking, suddenly a wasp has appeared in the room.
What do you call them? The...
Bug nets.
It's trapped between the window and the blinds. Wait, let me...
No. That thing can stay there. It will learn its lesson. It got in there, it can get out by itself.
It will probably die there.
Then that's nature.
I'll take it out during
This
the break.
is a National Geographic moment. Yeah, exactly, Psycho. If I had a gun, I would shoot that thing.
Yeah, but I kid you not, the fly stopper thing, the bug nets that you put like in front of your doors have fallen down while I was away.
Bug screens.
Oh, bug screen.
Or insect screens. It's like a thing you put against your windows and like balcony doors and stuff, so that there's like a layer of like net, so that insects can't fly inside.
That thing, yeah. Has fallen down, so we just had the door open today and the window in the bedroom without it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, every fly, bee, hornet and wasp in like a vicinity of 60 kilometers has entered this house today.
Everything with a stinger in all of Germany came to visit today. At some point, I mentioned via the stream that there was this huge wasp-looking thing the size of a chihuahua that came to visit me. That thing came back today. I could tell because while I was sitting here working, I heard buzzing, and suddenly, up here in my vision, I saw an HP bar just pop up. It said wasp.
It is so distracting. Yeah, but I hear it.
Just focus on us, Tifa. It's fine.
Actually, that's just a wasp. It's not the hornet.
Good for it.
But at our door, we have this little hole in the wall.
Where the blinds go in.
Where the blinds go in as well. No, but the wasps keep flying in there. Yeah. So I'm guessing we have like a nest in our balcony wall.
Gregorian chanting. Yeah, definitely.
So we're also seeing them more, which is usually fine because the net stops almost all of them. But now everything came in. It's been a constant trying to get them out.
Pretty much, yeah. I will only start really freaking out and prepare for battle when the lyrics actually kick in. As long as they're just chanting and vocalizing, that's just the warm-up. That could just be a mystical moment.
The hornets in the kitchen today had a HP bar.
Yeah, but the moment the lyrics kick in, that's when you know, now it's time for the boss fight. Now shit's getting real. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen. It has found a place to sit somewhere. It's currently not buzzing around.
Yeah, it will in a second again, probably.
I think for today's stream you will see us both do this a lot.
No, I'll let it go during the break.
I won't let you.
Oh, but the hornet was also really annoying because he kept trying to fly up, which is where the ceiling was, so he kept bumping against the ceiling, half falling down. Then he got mad, kept repeating the same thing 20 times, so that thing was pissed
20
off.
times. You can tell Tifa's getting into it.
That thing was pissed off as fuck.
Yeah, there was like this angry hornet looking thing. Not a good time. No. Especially when it buzzes so loud you can feel vibrations in the ground.
So I'm like standing there with the bug catcher, trying to... I couldn't even catch it, it was too high still.
I think if you had put a cup over it, it would have flown away with you holding the cup.
Probably, yeah. That's how hard it was vibrating at that point. Fortunately, we opened the kitchen windows as well and it managed to fly out. And then his brother came in the living room.
I'm beginning to think maybe it's a bad idea if we exterminate them.
What? Why?
Because they're annoying me. And honestly,
mosquitoes.
We're making it worse. We're teaching them that trespassing in our apartment is okay. We need to set an example on them. Or maybe not. I don't like doing that.
You know what you can make an example of, though?
Telling Tifa to please do a recap and make sure it's a good one, because it's been like, what, 4 weeks since we Higurashi'd last?
You absolutely have to do the recap.
Why? Because I actually bothered to do my homework and check the VOD of the previous Higurashi stream?
It's not true, I did as well, but it's all going...
Why is it flying past you and to me?
Well, I'm tired. I've read a lot, I've listened to a lot, and now my brain is too full to contain information, so everything is going in and out.
Why are you tired?
Because I need more sleeps.
I don't think that's the case.
I think that is the case.
So, here's what happened last time when we played Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 6, Tsumihoroboshi.
We did a friend activity first.
Check the VOD. What friend activity?
Well, that's the thing I do remember.
What's a friend activity, Tifa?
Well, our friends found out that Reina killed...
Please do not. Please just stop. Just sit there and look cute while I mansplain Higurashi. Because
so our friends found out that Reina
That's
killed...
not true.
Yes, it did.
No, that's not true. Last stream of Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 6, Tsumihoroboshi, started with Reina having already had told her friends about her murdering her dad's girlfriend and Teppei.
So they had found out here.
Am I that annoying? And since they now had already known, the stream started with all of us getting together to bury the bodies. So
friend activity.
You call that
nothing strengthens the bonds more than doing crime together.
For legal reasons, I wish to remind everybody that Tifa is currently joking, even though see the effect of a punchline. Don't listen to her. So, everybody got together, they decided to all be complicit and accomplices, so we all went our merry way and buried parts of our bodies together.
In the mountains where supposedly almost no one comes.
Yeah, in all the places that in the previous chapters had already been mentioned because people had been found there. After that it was time for Watanagashi. Watanagashi happened, we bumped into Tomitake and Takano-san. All went well until the night happened and Tomitake's body was found. While Ooishi is investigating the area, he had his people call Irie to please verify the death and maybe see why this person has died. We witness this, we read through the scenes, it's all the usual, he has died, he clawed out his own throat kind of spiel, until suddenly, out of nowhere, the narrator changes. And the narrator now suddenly goes on about, I'm making different choices, but this always happens. I feel that I'm onto something. I feel like I'm getting closer to a way out of this maze. But Tomitake still has died, which is super meta and has like it cannot be any of the characters on screen. Turns out that apparently there is some entity, I assume it to be Oyashiro-sama, who is making choices, and they somehow affect what is happening, which would explain why the chapters all are a bit different. But certain things keep reoccurring. Anyway, Keiichi previously had also said things about, oh, I had a memory of something that hasn't happened, that I couldn't possibly have. Like from a different world of possibility, which, okay. Keiichi is now accessing the morphogenetic field and he can just know things, even though he realizes this is weird, but we don't have any more data on that. After Watanagashi, everybody went back to school, everything was cool, Reina was a bit tired, it's all catching up to her. Until suddenly, Reina has a visitor. And she goes outside and the scene from chapter 1 repeats, except this time it isn't Keiichi being met by Ooishi and then going to Ooishi's car and having a talk about Tomitake having died. The very same thing happens, except this time it's Reina. And she doesn't like it one bit.
Understandable.
Yes. After that she comes back to the classroom, excuses herself, they play Clue. Everybody goes home. What did it end with? Tifa?
There was a scene in the library where Reina spoke to Tomitake's girlfriend, where she went into her past and Oyashiro-sama's curse.
True.
But I think that was before the Watanagashi festival?
Reina has a meeting, bumps into Takano-san at the library in the other town.
At the station.
Yeah. What's it called again?
Doesn't matter.
The other town.
There's only one library.
Where Shmion lives. And now Reina actually has a very similar conversation to the one that Shion had with Takano-san, where Reina opens up a little bit about her past. She talks about her... I don't know what terms they used. I want to say mental illness.
Well, Takano first talks about Oyashiro-sama, the whole history, about the book she has. She shows it to Reina, and that makes Reina feel like she can talk to Takano about...
She has to gain each other's trust.
Yeah, about Oyashiro-sama's curse. So she talks about the time they moved away and how Oyashiro-sama cursed them. And that bit you could tell.
Thank you. You can see bits are still there. Reina explains, among other things, mostly that one, that before she was put on heavy medication sedating her, she had this feeling of there being maggots in her veins. So she would start cutting herself open to get the maggots out of her body. Which thankfully people noticed and they gave her medication and she eventually got better through therapy and medication to some degree. Don't know what exactly.
Well, not fully, because the doctor suggested they move back to Higurashi to help with her aid.
If only I had gotten to finish my sentence.
Well, I'm faster than you.
Clearly it didn't all help, because whenever Reina is... We're here. Trying to... Focus, Tifa, focus.
Hey, you're talking. I can look around.
That is so disrespectful. Because when Reina is trying to remember these things or actively recall the memories, she suddenly starts seeing flickering lights. So there's clearly something still, like, not great with her. Yeah, and now she has the notebook. And I think that's it. That seems about all.
I think she is also dead. Because I'm quite sure...
Who is dead?
Takano.
We don't know that.
Didn't she disappear or also die?
I don't recall. We're about to find out because I'm pretty sure the game is going to remind us.
Oh, and there was one thing in the hints or in the story, I don't remember. They were planning on doing some construction on the mountains where no one comes, where we hit the bodies, which probably means in one of the next episodes they're gonna dig it up.
Yeah, the body parts are gonna be found and things are gonna go even wronger than they already have.
Probably.
Am I misremembering? Didn't we also get through a tip about somebody in the body of Rika talking about enjoying to be drunk regularly?
Oh yeah, Rika also likes to...
I don't believe that.
Well, whether it's someone in Rika's body or Rika, it is Rika in this sense does enjoy a glass of wine every now and then.
She apparently gets drunk regularly. She has a bottle of wine. She only needs very little because she's so tiny. And Satoko doesn't like it when she does this. But Reina looking person is like, yeah, but Rika, you know I'm gonna die in a couple of weeks, right? Like we know I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get murdered. So are you really complaining about me getting wasted in the meantime? And then Satoko is like, I still don't like it, but something like that. Which again brings me to believing that Oyashiro-sama inhabits Rika's body.
Could be.
Which is a strange kind of thing.
I don't remember a single thing I said.
You were mostly interrupting me trying to do a recap.
No, I meant about predictions.
I have the list open. What do you want to know, Tifa?
Nothing. That was just a statement.
So you don't remember? I'm offering to remind you and you're like, no.
I'm gonna go through the whole list now. Just start the game, it will come back.
It's gonna be one of those days again.
It's like a series when season 2 has come and you didn't rewatch season 1.
That's very much a you issue. Are you ready, Tifa?
I'm ready.
Am I ready? Yes. Hooray! We had finished chapter 7.
Wow, imagine not starting immediately in the game.
Tifa?
I remember that.
Moments like these make it easier for me to look forward to solo streams.
Next Wednesday.
Fuck you. Let's continue then, shall we? Homing ability. Okay. This is...
Reina had a different color nowadays, no?
When the narration swaps to Reina, the text turns pink, yes.
So this is someone else.
About homing ability and homesickness. If you interpret homing ability in a broad sense, you can say that most animals have a homing ability. It's the same with humans. We like to sleep, rest, and eat at a place where we feel comfortable, namely our homes. Your home is to you what nests are to animals. Therefore, we can say that humans have a homing ability as well. First of all, why do animals need nests? The answer is the same for humans. Sleeping, resting, and eating are the essential actions for survival. At the same time, those actions leave one defenseless as well. These people that came up with this haven't seen Tifa eat. She's anything but defenseless. That's why you need a safe area where you can be defenseless. Now I'm finding it really weird how I pronounce that word. Because defenseless.
You did pronounce it very weird.
Very weird?
Very weird.
That's why you need a safe area where you can be defenseless. Everybody knows Tifa growling at Jack who tries to take away her brownies. Yes, I have been bitten before.
That is an accurate image.
I'm just saying, growling is the least of your worries. I've been bitten when trying to feed her. Like, it's not that I was trying to take food out of her mouth. I was trying to be cute and put it in there. And then she went, chomp. Bitten by Tifa, yes. Yes. You know those videos of like zoos where they go and feed the zoo animals and you think, oh, this looks cute, I would love to do this too. Not this one. No. The fingers don't go near the mouth.
Well, feed carefully.
I was holding like a piece of cake or chocolate or something, like this, and you went...
No, you put that all the way in my mouth. Well, that's what happens then.
Tifa, it seemed like you had tried to take out like this chunk of my hand with it.
If you're in biting range, then you're doing it wrong.
Put it in your flat open. Or like with deers, and when Tifa goes...
No, I don't.
Why did I do that? I regret this. Do I have something to feed Tifa with? No. I will try it next time, Psycho. I will report back. And then I will lose my hand because Tifa just bites straight into this chunk. And then I will be defenseless. Everybody knows that not having this safe area results in high levels of stress. When you move an animal to a new environment, it naturally becomes stressed. When you force a person to live in a foreign land where they are uncomfortable, they become greatly stressed as well. Everybody also knows that this kind of stress is called homesickness. The Japanese don't know much about homesickness. We define it as mental weakness and we neglected to treat it for a long period of time. However, homesickness has a very long history. Let me do that over. However, homesickness has a very long history. In Europe's Middle Ages, people believed that it wasn't a mental but rather a physical disease. People also believed that out of everyone, the Swiss got the disease the most. What? It's the first time I'm hearing this. The Swiss, you see, were known to be an ethnic group that worked away from home in that era. They lived far away from their homes. There were no telephones at that time, so they couldn't even hear their families' voices for ages and ages. It's easy to imagine that the young Swiss workers got homesick while working in a strange land. Like Liechtenstein, which is right next door to them. Like they literally share a border. These Swiss who got homesick wanted to go home, but they couldn't because of their jobs. The conflict made them weak physically and mentally. And some of them went crazy and tried to escape from their reality by committing suicide or running away. Really? I feel like as a German I should have learned about this in school. We're neighbors.
I feel like looking this up.
Don't Google that, because if it's made up, that's gonna be spoilers.
Can you just look up Swiss homesick?
Please do it later.
Just for you.
Thank you, Tifa. The Swiss at the time were very superstitious, and many folk remedies and occult-like treatments to prevent homesickness went around. Like alcohol, probably. Yes, Tifa?
Just keep going!
Do you know this feeling? You're talking to somebody and you can see the light in their eyes go away. Like they're looking straight through you. Or they start looking at their phone while you are talking to them. That's what this is giving me.
Can't even look to the left.
Do I need to explain it a third time, or do you now understand that that's kind of killing my vibes? Yeah, Tifa, no, carry on with your life story. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, look, there's a door there.
Oh, what am I living with?
Me.
Yeah, and Bob over there.
You named the wasp? What? So I think Bob is not a good name for a wasp.
Wesley.
Better. I was thinking Wes, but Wesley is, yeah, kind of the same.
No, Wesley.
Is Wesley okay with us continuing the stream, or should we take a break so you can spend some quality time together?
You good? He doesn't like your attitude, but yeah, he says we're good.
I usually don't kill wasps, but I think I'm about to make an exception. I will not be cucked by a fucking wasp. Isn't this how a B-movie starts? Yes, exactly. Exactly.
This is the sequel, the Wasp movie. It's a bit more...
Since you're so into this time you have to read the B text.
Why does it need to be read?
Because that's the law, Tifa.
According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. The bee, of course, flies anyway, because bees don't care what humans think is possible.
If only you read that the way it was written?
Impossible. Possible. Both. They don't care about either.
Since going home was the only treatment, they must have called it a fatal disease. Like whatever this is currently. But it isn't really one, of course. Specifically, homesickness is a sign of that human homing instinct. Your brain desires to go back to your safe area, namely your home. At first, your brain makes you remember the happy memories of your home and it urges you to go home in a natural way. Go home in a natural way. On stilts.
Yeah, that doesn't sound natural.
But when reason stops you from achieving your desire, your brain starts sending unnatural signals to your body. As a result, your body gets weak, and that makes it more difficult for you to live in a strange land. In the end, you have to bend reason in order... You have to bend reason? Never heard that expression before. In the end, you have to bend reason in order to achieve your desire to go home. So, homesickness is born from our homing instincts. And the stronger one's homing instinct is, the stronger their homesickness. The strength of that homing instinct varies from individual to individual and depends on the environment in which those individuals live. If you say individual one more time in a sentence, I'm gonna scream. When your home is safe and the environment you live in is dangerous, your homing instincts grow stronger. On the other hand, when the environment you live in is safer than your homing instinct becomes very weak. Safety isn't the only element that affects its strength. Cultural aspects affect it too. The many customs demanding families to return home for major events varies with each region, so your birthplace's culture also alters the strength of your homing instinct. Amongst those regions,
I was going to say, can you move the
telling me to
thing up?
Interrupt.
Thank you.
One day I'm gonna install a third screen up there on the wall so that Tifa can sit here like this when she reads.
Why, it is much nicer.
I'm happy if it works for you. Amongst those regions, the transcendents of Onigafuchi village were believed to have an excessively strong homing instinct. The people of Onigafuchi... Why do you sometimes say village and sometimes you don't? The people of Onigafuchi forbade their fellows from ever leaving. Many believed this was the effect of the elitism and sense of purity I already mentioned before. People today strongly... This is all Takano-san.
Yeah, it's her notebook.
Too late, now I'm gonna finish this.
I only realized that later on.
People today still strongly believe that oyashiro-sama puts his curse on you if you break his rule and abandon the village. This superstition can be interpreted as homesickness. If homesickness is directly proportional to one's homing instinct, then the exaggerated expression curse would signify the strength of that homesickness and also their homing instinct. I can assume that they hated the outside world and created an insular society precisely because of their powerful homing ability. But isn't an ability something you use? Generally?
Well...
Or am I mistaking that with a definition for a skill?
I would say something you can do.
Yeah. Like, if you tell me, you have the great ability to always find your way back home. Cool, so I always know which way to go, but that doesn't mean I use it. You know?
Well, they have the homing ability.
I find this still slightly odd, but whatever. Unfortunately, there's no way to measure the strength of a homing ability that the primitive people of Onigafuchi had. It was so strongly forbidden to leave the village that nobody left long enough to get homesick. However, after the Meiji era, things changed. The sacredness of Onigafuchi dwindled with the efforts of modernization. Many young people started longing for city life, and some people were forced to leave their village to get a job. They turned out to be Swiss. As a result, villagers started venturing outside the village borders. That was when the transcendents of Onigafuchi realized how strong their homing ability was for the first time. The residents of Hinamizawa got extremely homesick. After a while, people started to call this homesickness the curse of oyashiro-sama. It became rumored that a person who left the village to get a job in a strange land was cursed. But he went crazy and died, and people who had left the village started coming back to either it or the nearby town. Their homesickness and their homing ability were very strong because of their culture. It's reasonable to think that these were cultivated by the unique religion in Hinamizawa, namely the cult of oyashiro-sama. From the moment they were born, they were taught the rules of oyashiro-sama. They must have felt guilty about leaving the village unconsciously. Unconsciously or subconsciously? Because leaving the village unconsciously, doesn't that mean you get knocked out and then somebody drives you in their car somewhere else?
I always say unconsciously and then you correct me.
I think subconsciously is when it's like that nagging part of your brain.
But now I'm starting to believe that you have always been wrong, because the game says the same thing.
Do you sub or unconsciously believe that? Unconsciously? On top of it. On top of my own consciousness. As a result, they considered their homesickness to be the curse of oyashiro-sama. I'm not sure if their homesickness got stronger because of the rules of oyashiro-sama, or if they made the rules of oyashiro-sama because their homesickness got stronger. I don't know which came first.
I got tired of reading such small print and lay down on the floor on my back.
I feel that. I feel that.
The true identity of the curse of oyashiro-sama is homesickness?
I would be willing to buy that if it wasn't for the fact that earlier in Tsumihoroboshi there was I can feel that there's a difference between the different routes through this maze. I feel the changes, but why does he always die? Like you can't put that thought into words until you exist on a level outside of the linear events of time. Doesn't work.
Yeah, the way they did it kind of makes it feel like it's proof of it there being something supernatural.
Yes. Yes.
Mio-san believed my story, and she let me read these scrapbooks. That's why I expected to find something interesting. But what it's saying is that the answer to it all is homesickness, which many doctors told me so many times at counseling. I'm a little upset. The word homesickness can't explain the extraordinary experience I had.
Not by itself, but...
I saw Oyashiro-sama come down to me from a bright light in the bathroom. I saw the dusky red, nasty maggots come out of my blood vessels. This scrapbook doesn't explain any of that.
And just imagine her now pouting and just throwing the book away. It doesn't explain it.
I don't understand how Mio-san was going to explain the cloud of maggots. Maybe she didn't have any explanation of that to begin with. Was it just a delusion?
It was just a prank, bro.
I flipped through one of the other scrapbooks Mio-san let me borrow, looking for an explanation of the maggots I saw.
She gave her several books?
Then I found it.
Oh no.
I had the exact title I was looking for.
Maggots in your veins? How do you
Sounds
title...
like a song. About maggots and the curse of Oyashiro-sama. In the Meiji era, a group of I'm gonna do this in reading voice too. In the Meiji era, a group of villagers were on their way back to Hinamizawa and they started discussing a rumor about a weird disease. Or do you want to be the book?
No, I'm okay with not being a book.
They said that maggots started crawling out of the wounds of a person who left Hinamizawa and that the maggots ate the person's body from the inside. The Shinto priest of the Furude shrine at that time explained that the weird disease was a sign of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. According to tradition, the Shinto priest showed the villagers an ancient scroll, and he told them that the story of the maggots had been passed down through the ages. This is what the scroll said.
The world where the demons came from must be interpreted as the land of death. And the demons in that land of death had to live their lives while being eaten by maggots.
The villagers who are of the demon's blood had nothing to worry about as long as they lived in Hinamizawa under the protection of Oyashiro-sama. But once they left Hinamizawa, abandoning that protection, the maggots that had been sleeping in the blood of the demons would start to awaken, and they'd eaten their bodies from the inside out. This maggot disease scared the villagers for a while, and they asked the shrine to provide them with protective talismans whenever they had to leave the village on business. This is interesting, as it's similar to the way homesickness was dealt with by the Swiss in the Middle Ages. After the war started, the delusion of the maggot disease faded away, but there remained a custom to send talismans to families that lived away from Hinamizawa.
It's almost like this very strange supernatural things stopped happening when people had bigger issues to worry about. You know, there's a war, like your country is at war, tons of people are dying or currently fighting in that war, so you don't have the time to think about, oh, but I can't leave this place because there's maggots inside of me.
No, Oyashiro-sama just gave them some time off.
Oh, okay.
He is merciful.
Oh, so it's like you get sick leave, you get war leave.
Yeah, basically.
Oh.
Just come back after.
Okay. I guess.
The talismans had the word maggot on them. But the most interesting part about all this is that the residents of Hinamizawa didn't know about the maggot disease until the rumors began. I thought that their unconscious worship made these people think of homesickness as a curse. So this case of the previously unknown maggot disease directly contradicted the research I had done so far. It's natural to think that the group of people who were in their way back to the village were lost in a mass delusion because they strongly believed in the curse, and that the Shinto priest took advantage of their state of panic to install a deeper faith in them. But I'm not fully convinced that it was merely a coincidence that this mass delusion matched with the story in the old picture scroll. I wonder if it's possible to see maggots in a wound without having the prerequisite knowledge when a person is cursed by oyashiro-sama.
Prerequisite what?
I thought it said pre-required for some reason.
Close enough, I would have let that slide.
I wish oyashiro-sama would put his curse on someone I could study. I'd love to see those maggots coming out of someone.
Shit, Tifa says.
I wasn't gonna comment on it, but yes.
Come on, there's no point in lying, Tifa.
Oh, for the longest time I have watched these videos on YouTube where they perform maggot therapy. You know, when there are cases where someone's flesh has died and they put maggots in it to eat away the rotten flesh so that only the healthy flesh stays behind. That must be such an interesting sensation.
I don't think you want to know what it feels like when the flesh is literally rotting while it's still on your body.
I mean, I think
that's tremendously painful.
I would rather not have rotten flesh, but if I do, I would like maggot therapy.
Why? I get it. You see something strange and then you're curious about it. But at the same time, like what I'm trying to say is, I don't judge you for having had the thought. I am judging you for the eloquence you put to it, the conviction you put to it, which leads me to believe you have spent a significant amount of time imagining exactly what that would be like.
I mean, yeah, wouldn't anyone? If you watch the videos, you automatically would.
No. I've unfortunately have seen some of these videos because, I was trying to understand her better. No, I do not. Not one bit. If my body, for whatever reason, ever contracts something and I get to the point where I get necrosis or like my flesh is just about to come off and they need to put maggots on me, I want to be knocked out while that's happening.
Yeah, you should not be conscious.
I understand they put them on there and they only eat the dead tissue. They don't hurt you, they heal you. I understand that, but I don't want to be conscious while that's happening.
It's like they're scrambling through the cheese.
You're not making it better.
Yeah, I guess.
Jack, where'd you find Tifa again? On the internet.
The internet is a scary place, I tell you.
Yeah, it is.
There's people like me.
Yes. Carry on.
I'm just saying. I felt as if Mio-san was here and making that request of me. I remember. When she gave me the scrapbooks, she said that I might be the only one who could understand them. I felt good just for a moment, because I found out that the maggots weren't a delusion.
I feel like reading comprehension is an issue. She just... Even Takano, who may or may not actually pinpoint what has happened, even she wrote, it could be mass delusion. It could just be they heard a rumor, they discussed it, and the Shinto priest at the time used that to draw them deeper into their religion.
Yeah, that could be, but the thing is here that Reina had not heard of it and experienced it.
I don't believe that.
Well,
here's the thing. Reina has somehow memories that she cannot access. She knows this. When she's trying to remember certain things, the flashing lights happen in her head. And we know that she used to live in Hinamizawa before they moved to the city and then eventually came back after her mother fucked everything up.
yes, but for Reina, she does not know.
No, I think she does. I think she knows. I think she has seen the scroll.
That could be, but not for her current memory, so she's experiencing it.
That doesn't matter. I believe... Do I need to write that down? I will write it down.
No, I am 100% sure they've seen the scroll. It's a tradition in the city that it gets sent to family members, so of course they've seen it. But not in Reina's memory. That is not a prediction. It is literally part of this, that it is a tradition in this village to send these talismans that have maggots on it. You now saying Reina has seen a talisman that has maggots
Reina
on them. Yeah, which is what you're typing, which is probably sold in the
How do you know what I'm
store.
typing if I'm not typing? Tifa is being toxic right now.
If you never saw a gorilla, would you believe in Bigfoot? Yeah, exactly. It's basically this.
But that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm saying, you, Psycho, in this scenario, you
And a gorilla.
You, as a very young kid, have seen a show, a documentary, something about Bigfoot and how it was probably... I'm not veterinary. Good to know, thank you. In this example, you as a very young kid have seen a documentary about Bigfoot. And maybe they brought up something like, looks a bit like a gorilla, probably pictures people have taken of gorillas and then they made the rounds, and because it was a really big gorilla, they called it Bigfoot because, oh look, I found this thing, this can't possibly be a gorilla, while it is actually a gorilla, but they call it Bigfoot. Now, you forget about this because why would you remember that when you were 3 years old or whatever, you've seen this on TV? Until much later, you see something in the woods somewhere, and your mind goes, that's Bigfoot.
Yeah, but that's not the point here. The point is that for Reina, she doesn't remember, she doesn't think she knows.
Let me for once finish, please. My analogy.
You didn't say anything, like how big does your paws need to be this time?
When did she get so feisty? You were so nice yesterday. What happened? I even made you cake.
That is true.
Yeah, exactly. So give me the benefit of the doubt. Back to the story of the game. I'm going to write down as my prediction that Reina has all of these oyashiro-sama cult things in her because she grew up with them. In the time she spent as a very young child in Hinamizawa, she has spent a lot of time with the Furude family. For whatever reason. I don't know. I don't care. Maybe because even as a small girl she was being really adorable. And maybe she was there around the time Rika-chan was born. So maybe she spent time at the Furudes when Rika was born, because she liked babies, because they're cute, and Reina likes cute things. Maybe she remembers she spent time with Rika because when she was still in Hinamizawa back then, they were already in the same class. And so they became friends, and she spent time there. because why wouldn't she? And then she left for the city, and her memories get hazy. But her having seen Oyashiro-sama, the thing about the maggots, that isn't her brain just trying to make sense of it all. It's her brain trying to make sense of it all because as a very young kid, she had been told these things are real.
So you're exactly writing down what I said, but with way more words.
No, because earlier I said something different.
Totally did not. It boils down to the exact same thing. Minus 3 minutes of story.
Reina's delusions are caused by her having spent enough time with the Furudes before she left Hinamizawa, and she subconsciously, not unconsciously, she subconsciously remembers the details. There. Weird that this talisman never was mentioned before. Plus that.
Yeah, besides the general rules, nothing was really mentioned about how they dealt with the curse.
It could be that in every other, let's say, timeline we've seen so far, that just never happened. If we go back to what I perceive to be the Oyashiro-sama level meta narrative of I'm making all of these different choices, but Tomitake always dies. That's weird. I need to get out of his maze. At that point, I would be more than willing to believe that in the history of time, in chapter 6's chronology of events, speaking is hard, the talismans have been invented. And in the others, they just haven't. Because we also never heard anything about maggots.
Yeah, but I don't think we go, or history changes in any of the stories.
Why not? How would we know?
Well, we won't until we get some of those answers. But I think there's just this one event that's we're trying to change. I don't think we're going back so far and change all of these things.
Chaos theory, butterfly effect. What if a thing that makes Rika live in the end and Tomitake not die is an event that has to have happened 2,000 years ago?
I mean, it could, but I don't get the feeling from the game that that is what is going on.
What if, in order for Tomitake to not die here, he needs to not become a photographer? And
I'm with Psycho on this one. Press A.
We would have continued a long time ago if Tifa wasn't so disagreeable today.
But at the same time, it destroyed my excuse that it was a delusion. The maggots were the delusion. They were there. All of a sudden, my wrist, elbows, inner thighs and neck started itching. I felt the urge to cut open a blood vessel, but I quietly held it down. I remembered that Mio-san looked very serious when I talked about the maggots.
She was probably holding back her inner Tifa like, please, can I see? Can I see? Can I see? Can I see? If you come to the hospital when it's quiet and I'm alone, we can grab a scalpel and I can stitch you back together afterwards. Can I see? Can I see? Can I see? You would.
I asked the staff if I could watch my grandfather's operation, but it's not allowed.
I told you she would. If Tifa believed maggots were in her veins and she was a nurse and she had access to all of these things, 100% she would operate on herself to see if there's maggots. 100%.
But I can also tell you, I think, where I now partially got it from. Because my other grandfather, when I was visiting them, he had a wound on his toe. And when we asked where it was from, he decided he has, what do you call them? Chalk nails?
I guess, yeah.
He has like this one nail on his toe that grows up. He gets like layers.
It grows layers on top of, yeah.
Exactly. So he decided to file it down with one of those drills that you use on...
I'm sorry, he what?
on what? But he went a tiny bit too far, so he had a little cut. Oh yeah, that's something my intrusive thoughts tell me to do.
I'm using a nail file to like whittle it down.
It's not really a
Maybe.
drill, but like a sliper. It's like... Wait, what's this called?
Sleipnir is a legendary dragon monster in Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's this small...
Winkelschleifer.
It's this small thing with a knot on it. It's round and you go over it to smoothen things out.
Tifa, please stop talking.
I forgot what the name is.
It is an angle grinder in English.
Yeah, but it's
in
not...
German, a Winkelschleifer.
Yeah, but it's not flat like that. It has a knob, it's round, and you go over it to smoothen things.
A wood drill then, yes. A Dremel, yes. Has to be that. She looked up something completely different on the side.
I'm trying to think of the name. Anyway.
How did we get to your grandpa's toenails?
Tifa missed out on being a surgeon.
How did we get to your grandpa's toenails?
Oh, I don't remember actually. I
think Psycho said something.
Can't remember. I actually always wanted to be a trauma doctor. That was my absolute dream in school.
I'm glad you didn't.
I would have loved to actually do that, but my concentration went down. I had some issues and I didn't manage to keep up.
The grades?
The grades and I was gonna say level of education. So,
my smarts.
The
smarts.
The smarts, exactly. And then at some point things just went worse and I was like, I'm not gonna still go to school for like 20 years and gave up on it. But a trauma doctor was my absolute dream profession. What?
I'm waiting for you to continue reading because...
What's wrong with wanting to be a trauma
Nothing.
doctor?
That's a very important job that needs to be done, and I'm very thankful that people do it. That's all I'm saying. And that
to be fair,
you
though,
wanted to get into it for the wrong reasons.
To be 100% fair though, to be able to cope in a position like that, you need this part of fascination as well.
No, you could also just tackle that issue with you wanting to save lives or heal people, help them live. Or you could have
that's also great.
Very strong fascination with a morbid side of life and go, that looks cool, I want to touch it.
I mean, it's both. Why can't it be both?
It can be. It can be, but I'm pretty sure you would have been in the operating room twice and then you would have gotten banned. Because when somebody was trying to set the bones during a compound fracture that is open and the bone sticks out, you would have been like...
No, then I would. Boop.
Uh-huh.
Then I wouldn't.
Oh look, there's text waiting to be read.
I just imagine rolling him out of the ambulance. Boop. Anyway. She must have thought it was creepy.
Yeah.
But so did I. While I was crying because nobody believed me, a part of me didn't want to believe that my body was filled with those creepy things. I think part of me wanted to believe that it was a delusion. But now I know it wasn't. It wasn't a delusion. There are some people who had the same experience. Maggots in the demon's blood will awaken when you lose the protection of oyashiro-sama. In other words, they may not awaken under the protection of oyashiro-sama, but all the villagers still have the maggots in them without knowing it. People of the demon's blood are people who have the creepy maggots in their bodies.
Then why didn't Shion have them? Why did Keiichi's mom not have them?
They might not be visible to the eye.
Why did Keiichi's mother not have them?
Maybe she's not one of the actual descendants.
Oh.
And she came back. What if She did experience this, and that's exactly why they moved back.
So that's what it is. The art that Keiichi's dad makes, it's demon blood maggot porn. It's a very small niche. So if you really want to cater to that market, you need to live in Hinamizawa.
What does that have to do with it? There's no reason for them to have come back to Higurashi. They even go to Hinamizawa. They even go on business trips back to Tokyo or whatever for work. They have no reason to be back here. So what if, in your logic, she did experience this, and that's exactly why they're back?
If you weren't so contrarian, you would have noticed that I said the reason why earlier. That was the punchline to the setup of the joke I said.
Well, bad joke then.
I thought it was good.
People with the demon's blood are people who have the creepy maggots in their bodies. I tried not to jump to conclusions and flip the pages again. I unconsciously looked for something related to maggots.
Okay, real quick. This is driving me crazy. Unconsciously.
Unconsciously is how you wrote it.
Unconsciously, without realizing or being aware of one's actions. Okay? Subconsciously. In a way that is influenced by the part of a mind of which one is not fully aware.
How about you go unconsciously or subconsciously?
According to diversity.social. To sum it up, the conscious mind is what we're actively thinking about, the subconscious is what we've learned and stored in our brain, and the unconscious is what we're not aware of at all.
So you've always corrected me wrong, basically.
In German it makes more sense. Just saying.
Press button.
Oh sorry, I got so mad about that word.
About parasites and control of the host. The maggot disease made me think about something. Is it possible to say that the extremely strong homesickness of Hinamizawa was an infectious disease caused by some kind of parasite?
Really? We're going there?
Hey, remember when I said I remember things about the game?
That's it? This is what you remembered?
Yeah.
Parasites?
Parasites! I said it was caused by parasites in the water.
I don't believe that.
So I did have parasites, right?
I believe, I mean I can see it, I believe that this is a point that they bring up, but I don't believe that's gonna be the ultimate reason.
Oh, then I don't remember. What I do remember is parasites. I'm not trying to connect the maggots they saw with parasites. I'm trying to think about the possibility that their culture, their religion, might be associated with an infectious disease. Many infectious diseases are caused unintentionally by parasites. A parasite's host is literally its home. It wants to live within the host's body for as long as it can, and the best way to do that is to coexist with the host without the host knowing it.
So you're saying oyashiro-sama inside of Rika's body is a parasite?
But some parasites try to control their hosts and use them for prosperity. For example, some parasites have an ability to control their host in order to force them to be eaten by a superior host.
In before Tifa talks about the disco maggots. Or disco snails.
Disco snails, yeah, those. I want to say cool.
Why did I bring it up? And I would like to apologize to everybody.
You also have parasites in ants that force them to drown themselves, but I'm not sure what the reasoning behind that was anymore.
Yeah, I think it's called a horseworm parasite that, for example, infects praying mantises, eventually hollows them out from the outside and changes the way their brain works, that they really start to want to be inside of water. At which point the horsehair parasite, because it looks like a very long hair, very thick, will burst out of a body and then go on with its life. Being eaten by a fish, then by a bird, then by something else. You know, just keep being a parasite somewhere else.
Parasites are kind of fascinating.
Oh, but what's fascinating to me is I see big words coming up.
Dicrocolium.
What did you just call me?
Dendriticum?
Dick scrotum is what I read first.
A typical example of the dick scrotum dendriticum.
And now in the reading voice, yes?
A typical example is the Dicrocolium dendriticum. It uses snails or ants as an intermediate host, and it forces them to move to the upper side of vegetation so that it's easier for a superior host to consume it. One parasite that controls more complicated animals is called Toxoplasma gondii. It uses mice as intermediate hosts, with the superior hosts being cats. There's a cat parasite. This parasite makes a mouse lose its fear of cats in order to increase its chance of getting eaten, so that the parasite can live within a cat instead.
Katze streicheln. Indeed.
There are parasites that choose hosts at random. The rabies virus is commonly known for that.
Rabies is the worst. If you're outside and you see a cute wild woodland creature, don't fucking go and try to pet them. Doesn't matter if it's a squirrel, a fox, a raccoon. Don't do that, Tifa.
Only don't if they're foaming.
If you get infected with rabies, you are basically already dead, and you're gonna die one of the most gruesome deaths imaginable. And if you want more details, Google it. It's really fucked up.
I have petted and touched hundreds of wild mice, birds, dogs, cats, squirrels.
Rabies would actually explain a lot of your behavior. Now that you mention that, yeah. You have to go outside for that. Smart choice. Smart choice.
At least you're safe.
Yeah.
It lives and breathes in the brain of a host, and it moves into the host's saliva through the salivary. It lives and breathes in the brain of a host, and it moves into the host's saliva through the salivary glands. It makes the host extremely aggressive in order to make it bite things randomly, so that in turn it can move.
Do you remember the story earlier if I was trying to feed you chocolate and you bit me?
It wasn't randomly, was it?
Sorry, I interrupted you.
It makes the host extremely aggressive in order to make it bite things randomly, so that in turn can move into other hosts through the saliva. That's what rabies does.
Squirrels don't get rabies because they usually die if something with rabies bites them. Fair enough.
Oh, see? So squirrels are safe. You can pet the squirrel.
Squirrels can still have rabies, it's just the chances are incredibly small.
Just don't let it drool on you. Many parasites have a similar ability to control hosts to their benefit. The examples I used above are about parasites that move into other hosts to prosper. But I think there must be some kind of parasite that controls its host in order to have a comfortable environment in which to live.
Yeah, like Raina's dad's girlfriend, before we killed her.
I want to try to connect this theory to the abnormal homing ability and homesickness of the Onikafuchi residents. Let's say there's some kind of parasite that exists in Hinamizawa and it lives within all of the villagers' bodies. For the parasite, Hinamizawa is the most comfortable environment to live in, so it gives the host a strong homing ability in order to make them stay in Hinamizawa. Furthermore, it causes the host to get homesick whenever they ignore this homing ability and try to leave.
Or maybe it's just older people telling young children, if you leave, you die. I feel like that's a whole lot easier than trying to come up with there's a type of rock in a type of water in a type of creek near a type of forest that is only specifically in this connection of certain boxes being ticked available right here. So this parasite only lives right here.
Parasites need hosts in which to live. It's convenient for them if It's convenient for them if their host builds a community in the environment where it feels comfortable. This theory makes it easier for me to explain the mysteries I described earlier. The Transcendents of Onikafuchi knew about the existence of this parasite. They knew that as hosts to the parasite, they couldn't live outside of the village. That's why they created a culture and rules that prohibited contact with the outside world. If you learn you have a parasite, would you try to gate it in a community for it to prosper?
No, I would try to find a way so that my children don't get the parasite. Even if I cannot ever leave a village for reasons, I can try to let others have a life that they choose. If they choose to stay here, cool. But they could leave at least. I think Takano was drinking the good stuff when she was writing all of this.
It also explains why people acted so abnormal during the dam conflict. So, the demons that came out of the swamp in the legend of Oyashiro-sama can be interpreted as the mass spread of the parasite.
So you're saying it's basically human rabies?
Basically.
Like demon rabies, except it doesn't make you fear water and eventually die. It makes you bite other people and then go, I want to stay home.
The story about the demons attacking the villagers must be a metaphor for the behavior of the infected villagers who were controlled by the parasite.
Nah. Well, about germ theory, those people in ancient times only had curse as a working theory.
Yeah,
fair enough.
True.
Fair enough. If we're just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, I get it. Do I believe the parasite theory? No.
Well, it's just passed down, and there's a high chance that you would pass on parasite X to your baby.
But my favorite letter is X. That can't happen to me.
Well, that's why you're safe. This theory is too crazy. I should have just laughed about it. But I felt bad for Mio-san, so I decided not to. Hinamizawa is controlled by a parasite.
Yes, and the parasite is called the Sonozaki family. I said what I said, don't at me.
You could use that theory to explain how the maggots came out of me. I felt a little bit dizzy. I was so confused, and a part of me thought it was ridiculous. And another part of me thought it was more convincing than any curse. But Mio-san was probably erased because she wrote these scrapbooks. Oh, see? So she is dead.
Mm-hmm.
If so, the contents of these scrapbooks must be something that they can't ignore. They tried to get all of her scrapbooks and consign them to oblivion. What if they notice some of her scrapbooks are missing?
Why don't they consign them to Skyrim? Sorry.
I felt a chill running through my spine. I have to keep it a secret that I have these scrapbooks, and I'll have to try to understand more about their contents. I remember Mio-san told me that the three families are behind the series of mysterious deaths, and that they're trying to resurrect the cult of Oyashiro-sama.
Did you know that if you spell out Furude in the kanji, it actually also uses the word for maggots?
According to the theory I just read, the parasite must be trying to maintain the current environment of Hinamizawa. The healthiest environment for it is a completely closed village, just like the primitive Onikafuji. It must be very comfortable for the parasite if no hosts go outside the village. They don't even like that the villagers often leave the village to go shopping.
I understand your mind latching onto whatever is a plausible explanation for what's happening to you because you just want things to make sense. But I have never ever heard of any type of infection or parasite that makes you go, no, I don't think I want to go shopping in this store because it is outside of an imaginary border that I just don't feel comfortable with.
Well, that's how a lot of animals operate. That hunt in small bits. Like they do not cross a magical border.
It's not magical, it's territory. No, that's biology. Territories exist. Animals mark territories.
Yeah,
it's not
compare
magical.
Compare it to that. See? Exactly. So you do get it.
So
you do understand.
I have the Oyashiro-sama parasite, yeah? And I get in my car and I start driving down the road. And I can just smell the piss of other people smelling different than that of my neighbors, and then I go, no.
Territory does not need to be set
No,
just by
don't like
peeing
it.
on it. They have decided on their territory and they know. They now possess intelligence.
But
human intelligence.
really?
I like how you go along with the craziest shit, but a parasite having a territory seems to be going outside of your comfort zone.
Spoilers for the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Close your ears. This is the fucking Wolbachia all over again. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. I can't believe Kojima would steal from Higurashi in this sense. Oh my god. Alright.
Well, I say it's time for a short break too.
Fine. Yeah, then maybe I will catch a parasite that allows me to understand all of this. Beautiful. BRB.
PRP. We're back.
As I pressed the button, I forgot what I wanted to say. I was thinking germ theory, germ man, and I thought I had something, but now it's gone.
You'll think of it tonight.
Yeah, and then tomorrow morning I will wake up giggling to myself because I thought of something that would have been incredibly funny 12 hours earlier. Yeah, story of my life.
Yep.
Alright, here you go, Tifa.
That means the parasite would try to goad the host into resurrecting the cult of oyashiro-sama.
Wait, also, isn't that Resident Evil 4? Spoiler, too late, but spoilers for Resident Evil 4. Like...
I think this came first, which means they took it from them.
No, RE4 came out first.
Oh. Well, in that case.
Wow, Higurashi stole from every video game ever made before and after.
Well, if you are a god or a deity coming to Earth, you need some cool backstory.
Leon,
why reinvent the wheel?
True, Leon from RE4 is pretty sexy. I get it.
I remember there was an article in the scrapbook saying that the demon's blood runs thickest.
Are you okay? Do you smell burnt toast?
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this before in a training video on how to recognize somebody having a stroke.
Oh, my parasite is not working along.
Come on, little guy.
Say it. Thickest.
Thickest.
Thickest. Thickest.
How do we get you not tired for a Higurashi stream? I feel like we've gotten exactly 5 screens into the game since we started earlier today.
I remember there was an article in the scrapbook saying that the demon's blood runs thickest in the 3 families.
Skill issue. Yeah.
That would mean that they have a larger amount of the parasite in them than the other villagers, and that they're under its control.
That's not how parasites work. It's not like the disco parasites in snails all work together to make the snail go twice as fast.
Well, that's why they sometimes like short wire, because all of the parasites want to take over.
It's like the parasites are taking a screenshot inside the body.
Yeah, exactly. The 3 families seem to be planning to bring the village back to the Onikafuji era. Reviving the Watanagashi festival after the dam conflict can be interpreted as their desire to revive the faith that they had started to fade away in the Meiji era. To be fair, it's not me derailing the stream every 5 minutes.
True, you're only to blame for every 10 minutes. I am every 7 minutes and then Tifa's every 5. This is a perfect group. We all find something to derail with.
It only looks like I am once every 5 minutes, but honestly, I am like once every hour. It just seems like more because I go along with you guys derailing the stream. Like, I do not mind. But you guys started, and then because I keep going with it, I get the blame for it. Like, that's why it seems so much for me. When it's like once every hour when I actually started myself.
If you say so. You're giving me too much credit. Let's see how this goes.
The three families, especially the Sonosaki family, have a great influence over the region and the public organization. What's going on here? I thought this to be a poorly written theory, but the pieces fit together one after another. I've never played a jigsaw puzzle as crazy as this. I felt my brain swirling due to the absurd theory.
That's not the brain, that's your parasite doing like saltos and stuff.
A part of me thought this was ridiculous, and another part of me thought I might be about to expose an unbelievable truth. When I tried to look into the center of it, I felt as if I was going to fall into the whirlpool and drown.
This is probably what anti-vax people go through. They're like, oh, I don't like needles and getting shots. So as they keep falling down the rabbit hole of misinformation and factual untruths, it's like, oh my god, I'm onto something.
I have a cousin with autism who got vaccinated.
Therefore, all that... I'm so lucky I didn't get it. I don't know if that was the same in other countries. See, now I'm derailing. I don't know if it was the same in every country, but over here in Germany, when the pandemic happened and when thankfully, eventually, we got vaccines for it, there was a huge minority of people that started spreading rumors or misinformation, let's call it what it is, misinformation. If you get the jab, the shot, my doctors have told me that because of all the poisons in there, you're gonna be dead within 6 months. The amount of times I should have died, I got the vaccination twice and then a booster shot over the years. I should have died so many times already, just from those shots alone. It's crazy. I don't know how I'm still holding on.
I'll have to devote myself to reading more seriously. There must be some truth to this.
Why else would somebody write it down? Why would people lie, especially on the internet?
That's not what she's saying, though. It caused misfortune and made my life miserable after I moved to Ibaraki. I might be able to find the truth, including the cause of my parents' divorce and my desperate behavior. Right then, I heard a knock on the door all of a sudden, scaring me. I hid the scrapbooks under a cushion.
Rena, you have a phone call.
A phone call? This late? Who is it?
It's from a bookstore. Did you order some books? They said they were ooishi-san from the Okinomiya bookstore. Dun dun dun, that's exactly what happened to Keiichi too. Is Reina going to die at the end of this chapter?
Oh, true, in chapter 1 he died.
Yeah, clawing out his own throat in desperation.
That could be if we're matching it up.
I opened the windows, but all they let in was heat and the cries of the cicadas. It's too hot.
It really is.
It was break time between classes, but we couldn't really get any rest. Ian and I leaned on our desks, exhausted by the heat. The younger kids sure are tough, considering how the heat wasn't bothering them at all. They were running around the classroom despite the temperature.
Do schools in the cities have air conditioning in their classrooms?
No, they don't. Only the teacher's office gets to have air conditioning.
Ugh. Wow, that's better than nothing. If I were a student at a school like that, I'd attack the teachers and take over their office.
You'd be the first student ever to do that. I didn't even have the energy to laugh. Mia and I stopped talking and used our notebooks to fan ourselves.
We have
Higurashi, the 4D experience. A little paper fan. Beautiful, thank you. I looked at the empty seat nearby. It was Reina's. Reina didn't come to school today. She called and told Chia-sensei she couldn't come because she's sick. Reina seems to be feeling down these days.
Yeah, She probably got tired from the heat.
Do you really think that's the reason?
Yeah, why?
I think it's the incident.
Maybe. It's probably both that and the summer heat.
Yeah, even people who murder other people can get hot. I can't even imagine how distressing it was for her to commit a murder, dismember her bodies, and get caught by her friends.
Also, Keiichi just... Yeah, exactly. Keiichi talk about it in school. Yeah. He's breaking the rule that they would never mention it again. And now
you don't talk about Fight Club.
Now he's just calling it the incident. That is breaking the rule.
Yeah. I've worked in places where for some reason sometimes people decided, oh, I have information that should not leave the room. And then they would stand in the middle of an office discussing it amongst themselves loudly. And I'm in earshot and I'm thinking,
but it's still in the office.
We've just been told we're not supposed to talk about this outside of a meeting. And now here you are in an office with other people working, talking. Really? I think it's human nature. I just think they didn't mean anything bad by it. I think it's just human nature to discuss the most secretive things in the most public spaces you can think of. Every movie, every show, they do the same thing. Every single time. And every single time I see this in a movie or a show, I tell Tifa that's exactly what they shouldn't be doing. Every single time. We took each other's hands at that place and reunited. All of us believed that we had closed the case there and had regained our peace. But was that as easy for Reina as it was for us? She must have not quite recovered yet.
This old man thought she'd get over it if she played along with us. But I guess her pain ran deeper than I thought.
What should we do to cheer her up?
It's best to just leave her alone, I think.
Hey, are you sure about that? We're friends, you know?
Well, it's like homesickness, you know?
Homesickness, you say?
You get lonely and you want to call home just to hear your mom's voice. But that actually makes your homesickness worse.
And actually, Mion, it's about parasites.
It's an ability. When you're feeling lonely, the best thing to do is to devote yourselves to sports or something like that for a change.
Literally walk it off. I want her to do club activities with us, but she doesn't want to.
I don't know about her, but people usually have a desire to depend on somebody. You want to depend on somebody who supports you and sympathizes with you. Haven't you ever experienced that feeling when you can't stop depending on somebody when they try to cheer you up?
Well, I don't know.
Completely depending on someone means trying to earn even deeper sympathy from them. At that point, even though you're trying to comfort them, they just slip further and further into depression. By finding initial success through relying on someone and receiving comfort, they grow addicted to indulging in misfortune. I think Reina knows that too. That's why she wants to be alone right now.
Not quite sure it works like that, but I guess I can understand the logic she's going for.
If she wanted to depend on us or get comfort from us, all she'd have to do is to stay with us and cry all the time.
So, how can we cheer her up? Yeah, trying to not be a burden. Yes, but the whole, well, if she wanted company, she would just come and get it. That's usually not how everybody's different, of course, but sometimes when people are depressed, they don't do that. They just sit there in their own misery. And it might be beneficial for them to talk to somebody, but they don't because they're busy being depressed, you know? Oh well.
Well, I think she'd appreciate it more if you tried to help her forget her pain than if you tried to cheer her up. Isn't it almost the same? Well, no.
I feel like it can be, yes. It can be similar, at least. Don't comfort her and don't cheer her up. There's nothing I can do, is there?
That's a golden rule for psychologists, did you know? Mental trauma can only be healed by the person who has it. If someone else helps a person out of their mental trauma, even if they succeeded, that person wouldn't be completely healed. So all we can do now is wait for Reina until she heals on her own.
Is that really how that works? Because I somehow don't agree with that. Maybe it's just mincing words and arguing semantics, but don't people specifically seek out therapists and psychologists so that they can help with going through trauma?
Does that count as help? A good therapist can help you identify problems. Yeah, I mean, no one can solve it for you. That is true. But
Yes.
they can still help you.
And they can show you ways and mechanisms and give you
how to
ideas
deal
on
with it.
how to work through this. They do it with you. They don't do it for you, but they do it with you.
Exactly.
Which, yeah. I think we're all on the same page. I just find her wording it kind of different. That's not how I would put it. I find the way she says it disagreeable. But
Well, the way Mion is saying it's basically just leave her alone, let her wallow in it.
I can show you to the door, but you have to walk through it yourself. Yeah.
That's the point, yeah.
I understand the idea, but I just don't like how cold it sounds. I clasped my hands behind the back of my head and looked at the ceiling. Mion laughed.
Reina will be fine as long as she has someone like you to worry about her. I'm sure she can pull herself together.
So all I need to do is to be close to her? I don't know about that.
There's something you can do, Keiichi.
Rika-chan spoke up. It's difficult to find out what you can or must actually do yourself. Yeah, fair. Very fair.
I also don't think we are the people who would even be able to help her with whatever we've all gone through.
Yeah,
But
if there was such a thing, of course. You know, if there was some sort of incident, maybe, when we all held hands.
Almost everyone's doing pretty good.
Almost everyone. That's such a management kind of language. Almost everybody is enjoying the bullying that's happening. I wonder how long she'd be listening to our conversation. What is it?
You can listen to her when she wants to talk to somebody.
True. Is that all? 9 out of 10 people enjoy bullying. Exactly. Is that all? I just listen and I don't need to make her feel better?
Kei-chan, people feel better just by talking to somebody. Sometimes all they need is someone who does nothing but listen quietly. That is true. Just like me said, I think it's important for us, as her friends, to be there for her whenever she wants to talk to somebody.
Mion and Rika-chan were absolutely right. I was going to pat Reina on her shoulder and tell her to cheer up when I saw her next, but now I know that would have been one-sided on my part. Reina doesn't want to feel down herself. She wants to cheer up if at all possible. If I cheered her up irresponsibly, she'd be very disappointed because she'd think that I didn't understand her pain. You're right. I guess I wasn't even trying to understand how she felt. I wanted to cheer her up, but I know now that that's just what I want to do, not that what she... I understand exactly what he's trying to say, but... I wanted to cheer her up, but I now know that's just what I want to do, not what she wants me to do. Thanks, you two. I think I finally understand. On that day, I thought I cheered her up, but I started to doubt if I had reached her heart. I might have just been dragging her someplace where I wanted her to go. I wasn't on her side in the real sense of the term. All of a sudden, Rika-chan patted my head.
Don't worry. We all know that you're on her side.
What? What? Did I say something out loud again?
It did reach her heart. Kei-chan, you really did give her great strength on that day. Well, now that I think about it, what you said on that day was more than a little theatrical.
Indeed it was. We heard footsteps from the hallway and everybody started to head back to their desks.
Take your seats, everyone. President, if you would. All rise.
Tifa just reminded me of something. During our trip to London, I was accidentally very racist. I'll quickly tell the story because I would feel bad if I didn't. We had met with Skinner and Benjima. Proof is in Discord. And
You realize Skinner is black.
I knew that already. Oh, Tifa. And we were walking about London. I feel like your reaction is worse right now, Psycho. Anyway. What are you doing to people? There's no way to react to what you were saying without it being weird either way. Anyway, so we all met up and we were walking around London. And eventually we walked through London's Chinatown. And we had a blast because we came across a place called the Kowloon Restaurant. And Benjima is a huge fan of Shenmue 2. Well, a fan. Played through it. I have played through it with Tifa, so we had lots of fun. We were like, oh yeah, and you know, when we're gonna get lost here, and we just made a lot of Shenmue references. And Chinatown, London is quite a big area, and we're walking around for like an hour, I want to say.
That's where the Chinatown references keep coming from, if you do see them on Discord or someone mentions it, because we kept walking around Chinatown trying to find a place to eat. And either Jack could not eat anything there, or they wanted cash, which none of us had.
Or they just didn't have anything that looked interesting to all of us. You know, fair is fair. As a group, that kind of stuff happens. Not the problem. So, as we're walking through Chinatown, it's wind still. We're just walking through Chinatown. Nothing is happening. And suddenly there's a gust of wind coming towards us. And with that gust of wind, there's an intense smell of steamed rice. That's it. That's all that happened. If you have a rice cooker, or if you have ever prepared rice, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That smell of steamed rice, or cooked rice, depending on your preparation. That smell hits my nose. And without thinking, as we're walking through Chinatown, surrounded by Asian-looking people, I say out loud, man, I really smell rice. Nobody reacted to it. Benjima looks at me. Skinner looks at me. Tifa looks at me. I think it was Benjima who first broke the silence like...
No, I said, that's racist.
True, you did.
Then I made it weird.
And then I was like, what did I just do? How is it racist? And then I think Benjima spent the next 15 minutes trying to explain to me how, unfortunately, that can be mistaken in a racist way. I did not consider that at all. I will die on that hill. I did not think about it like this at all. I was commenting on the smell of food reaching my nose. But apparently, I was being racist. You mean in a racist way? Yes.
That's a 10 out of 10.
Peak. Okay, let me put it like this. When I said what I said, did I have a racist intention? No. My intentions were purely racist. Because I was thinking of food. Thank you. Thank you. Put it way more eloquently than I ever could have without your help. Yes. Didn't mean to offend anybody, but after Benjima and Skinner kindly explained it to me, Tifa was just chuckling to herself, being her usual kobold self. I understand, unfortunately, that without the context, in this situation, it could have been taken as me being a piece of shit. Thankfully, that didn't happen.
So what did you think of this story? Is it because this game was made by Asians?
No, it's because Mian said all rice.
Racist? Oh. Shame.
You said all rice.
Yeah.
Why did you just try to cancel me? Like,
I couldn't think of
for
why.
no reason. For Tifa's idea of improv, of yes and, is to push you down the cliff. Oh, Jack, there's like needles and blades on the ground. Oops. That's you. That's your idea of entertainment, of comedy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Why don't you just commit social suicide in front of everybody, Jack? That was racist.
Wow.
Anyway, all rise. I heard the word rise being said. You know, homonyms.
Homonyms?
Yes, two words that are different words, but they sound the same, like rise and rice, depending on your pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tifa and idiot.
That was actually a good one.
I thought so too. Now, we didn't have a club meeting that day because Reina wasn't around. That worked out for me because I had an errand to run. It wasn't a big errand. My mom wanted me to use her point card to get some detergent. I didn't see the point of going all the way to the store just to get detergent, but my mom told me to go because she's busy helping my dad with his work. Oh, they're doing the hanky-pankies.
Legit reason.
Fair enough, yeah. Hey kid, go to the most remote supermarket, we want a fork. I started walking towards the shopping center. I noticed someone was watching me, hiding behind a distant tree.
Oh, Reina was in the tree back then.
Wait a minute. Are we gonna do the hatchet forest walk now?
Did she have a hatchet?
She did have a hatchet.
It was a scene where she went a bit nuts.
She had the hatchet, yeah.
I don't think that, no, the hatchet was in the actual forest, but there was a scene where he's walking past this path, he feels someone's watching her, and it was Reina watching from behind the trees. They have a bit of this argument where he shouted at her to leave her alone.
Oh, true, the second time was the pyramid head walking with a hatchet slowly behind him.
Yeah, I think the hatchet was in the forest, not on this path.
I wonder who would do such a mischievous thing. I stared at them to find out who it was, at which point they emerged.
Can no one pee in peace here nowadays?
Taking a piss here. Oh, Reina. Are you feeling better now? I was about to say that, but I swallowed the words. Somehow Reina looked very serious. What's going on?
Shh.
Reina put her index finger to her lips, told me to be quiet, looked around carefully, and beckoned for me to come over. I had no idea what was going on, but I followed her instructions, shut my mouth, and ran to her. Reina gestured. The parasite is now affecting me. Reina gestured for me to squat down to hide in the shadow of a bush. I didn't know why I had to do that, but I could ask her the question later. I just followed her orders for now. Reina looked like she was making sure no one was following her. If it was Mion, she'd do something like this just to fool me as a joke, but I know Reina doesn't do things like this for fun. I had no idea what kind of situation I had gotten myself into, but I could feel how tense it was, and I made myself as small as I could.
Okay, so it's not the same scene. Good. It's okay now. I'm sorry.
The tone of her voice made me relax a little. Whew. What's going on?
I think someone has been following me.
What? Who would follow her? When I thought about it, I realized how stupid the question was. Is it the police? Rina Mamiya and Teppei Hojo. 2 people disappeared. Even though they were awful human beings, the police had to investigate if they found out that they'd gone missing. It probably wouldn't be difficult to find out that Rina had often been to Reina's house. But it should be okay. As long as they don't find those bags, it should be okay.
I don't know if it's the police or not, but I feel like someone has been watching me since the night of Watanagashi.
What do you mean? Once I asked that question, Reina stared directly at me with a blank expression. Her eyes looked as though they were evaluating me. She stared at me as if she was assessing whether I was worth talking to about something very important. Reina squeezed her own wrist tightly, then started talking in a whisper.
I can tell you what's going on, but can you keep it a secret?
Yeah, of course I can. If you want me to keep it secret, I won't tell anybody. I will only talk about it in school in front of everybody.
Okay, I trust you.
She smiled and looked around one more time.
They might be looking for Mio-san's scrapbooks.
Mio-san? Oh, the nurse, Takano-san. What about her scrapbooks?
The police are keeping the investigation under wraps, so I'm sure you don't know. Mio Takano-san was murdered.
What? What? When? She told me to be quiet again. I lowered my voice and let her continue.
On the night of Watanagashi, we met Mio-san and Tomitake-san, didn't we? They were attacked right after that. Do they know that Tomitake has also died?
We don't know. As in, we haven't had a scene where the others have been informed about this.
Right, you only told Reina in the car,
Yeah.
but the next day, when news broke out, that didn't happen here.
Not that we've seen it. It could have happened, it could not have happened.
Tomitake-san was cursed by oyashiro-sama. He clawed out his throat and died. Mio-san was burned to death in the mountains of the Gifu prefecture.
Is that true? I mean, nobody told me about that.
There you have it.
Good thing we kept pressing a button.
I know. That's because the police haven't disclosed their investigation. These cases make the 5th of the series of mysterious deaths. So the police have decided not to go public yet.
I see. I understand why the police are keeping quiet about it, but then where did you hear this?
Can you keep it a secret? I've been in contact with ooishi-san. He's a detective from the Okonomiya Police Department. He told me about the case.
So can I. Welcome in, Dark Lord. Happy
How you
Wednesday.
doing?
How are you? Why did he tell you?
I don't know. He said he told me because he could trust me.
I was dumbfounded to hear all of this, but I knew she wasn't lying. If it was Mio, she'd be sticking her tongue out by now. But Reina wouldn't make a joke out of something like this. It's lunchtime. What are you having?
Ooh, enjoy. I think the reason why Mio-san was murdered is because of her research. Do you know she was doing ethnological research by studying the history of this village?
I've heard something along those lines. Takano-san was interested in the occult and in mysterious things. I remember Mion once told me that she was studying the village's legends of man-eating demons out of curiosity.
I think she discovered a very important secret about this village through her studies. Or maybe she wasn't even close to the truth, but they thought she was.
Chicken parm on linguine. Oh, I'm hungry now.
That is tasty. Enjoy.
It's making me salivate, actually. Please enjoy for both of us.
Parasites.
What?
That's how the parasites, like rabies.
For chicken parm on linguine?
No, you drooling.
Oh, fair.
You.
Now you got mine too.
I probably have more parasites than you anyway.
Possibly, yes. Germaphobe Jack, almost parasite proof. Tifa once made not chicken parm because vegetarian, but like an aubergine.
Oh yeah. That
eggplant with like this breading with like cheese in it, with like a tomato sauce with some noodles on the side. Oh, that was so good. Do you still have a recipe for that?
I do, but it's a bitch to make.
But it's good.
Can make it in the weekend or something.
Let me take a sip of water to
Eggplant parm is a common idea.
wash it out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
It was
I just don't
so
like
delicious.
making it, but I love eating it.
You had to like cut the eggplant, then you had to salt it to like drain the water and the bitterness from it. That took forever already. Like pat it down, then bread it, then like fry it properly. Like, I understand why we don't have it regularly. Oh, wait a second. What's the secret of this village you're talking about?
I just read a few of her scrapbooks, but those were the ones that she was handling with extra caution, so I think there are pretty important things written in them. I think I know about 80% of what Mio-san was trying to uncover. But if it's true, it's almost too crazy to believe. Right now I'm trying to find out whether Mio-san's theory is right or not.
Is that why she goes around with a hatchet to just cut people open to see if there's maggots in them?
She would have cut at least one person with the hatchet back then, and she didn't.
I still wonder what Keiichi did in chapter 1 to deserve that treatment from her. Because, from what I recall, it very much seemed like she was wanting to use the hatchet on him. So what is it? What is the secret of his village? What could be so important that you might get killed just by knowing about it? I gasped the moment those words left my mouth. If Reina told me, I might get killed too. On second thought...
Oh.
No, water. Hey.
The reference is lost on me, and I'm trying to think if that's something I should know.
I don't get it.
Okay, good.
I don't know the reference. It could also be something they yell in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Usoda!
Seems likely.
That's just... It's like punching sounds.
You liar! Oh, yeah, now...
Now I feel so uncultured, like I should be knowing this already.
Now that you say it, I hear it.
Liar!
I don't want to tell you yet. But I promise I will once I verify things. Because it's really crazy. Too crazy to be true.
What do you mean you have to verify things? Well, first you send an inquiry to a company, and then they send you a letter with a code back, and then you have to call them again to tell them the code. It's two-factor authentication. So Reina shouts when she starts getting crazy in chapter 1. Yes.
Yeah, that's the scene we were talking about earlier. That was here.
It was one of the earliest instances of the Higurashi eyes, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, around that time at least.
When she did the...
I don't remember if it was the first one, but it definitely was beginning.
Yeah.
For example, I myself serve as verification that the maggot disease can occur without any background knowledge, but there are a lot of things I still need to verify. They sound too crazy to be true, and I can hardly believe them if I don't verify that they are.
Maggots? I was totally lost now, and I wanted to ask her some questions, but I decided not to cut in. It was so hot outside. But Reina held her arms as if she was cold. Reina, I'm always on your side. You can trust me.
Thank you.
Is what somebody who's about to betray you would say, Reina.
I really appreciate it.
From her expression alone, I could tell that she really meant it. I could also tell that she was involved in something very big, and that she felt lonely because she couldn't tell anybody else about it. I had to be on her side while she was going through a difficult time.
You shouldn't tell anybody that you met me here today. They might try to hurt you if they find out.
Oh, okay. Isn't there anything I can do to help?
Not right now, but it's very reassuring that I can ask you for help when I need it. I'll depend on you someday.
Yeah, anytime.
Shh! A car's coming.
Rita pushed my head into the bush. I went along with it and crouched down even lower in the bushes. We stayed quiet for a while. I could hear a car coming closer, and after a while a white van passed by.
Dum, dum, dum.
Is it the same white van that tried to run us off the street in a different chapter?
There's probably only one white van.
Hinamizawa isn't that small of a place, is it? I was surprised at her hearing. She heard the car coming when it was still far off in the distance.
Did you see his license plate number?
What? No, I'm sorry. I didn't.
I couldn't either, but I think it's the same car I saw earlier.
Are they the ones following you?
I think so. It passed by me many times today on the street where nobody usually drives. I hit every time, but it's strange.
Are they the ones? They were the ones who killed Takano-san and Tomitake-san. Are they looking for the scrapbooks you have?
Most likely, yes.
I don't blame her for not being able to believe what's going on, because this is really crazy. Takano-san uncovered something really significant through her studies. The people who want that information hidden found out about it, and they killed her on the night of Watanagashi, copying the curse of oyashiro-sama. They're looking for the scrapbooks, the fruits of her research, and Reina has them. That's why they're trying to kill Reina? What about your house?
It's safe there. I hid the scrapbooks in my secret hideout at the garbage dump. I'm worried about my father, but he'll be fine because he really doesn't know anything.
That's usually not what the weird murderer people care about when they come to your house. They will assume that you know, because... Anyway.
It's written on your face, Keiichi-kun. It says I can't believe it, because it sounds too crazy to be true. Am I right?
I wanted to deny it, but I felt bad to lie. I remained silent in the affirmative.
Well, that's a normal reaction. I couldn't believe any of it when I read the first scrapbook. I finally started seeing the connections after reading all of them.
I'm sorry. I do want to help you, but I just don't know how if I don't see the whole picture of what's going on.
If I tell you, it might put you in danger.
You're already in danger, right? I don't mind. Don't worry about me. Such a heroic thing.
Okay, I'll tell you then. It's probably the 3 families who killed Mio-san and Tomitake-san. To be more specific, it's the Sonozaki family, Michan's family.
Why?
You know about the series of mysterious deaths, right?
Of course. The traitors of a dam conflict die every year, right?
The series of mysterious deaths is like a resolution of the dam conflict. They're trying to end the dam conflict in the true sense of the term by erasing people who betrayed the village.
Is that new music?
I think it is.
I don't recall the...
I kinda like it.
Not for constant, but...
Oh?
It feels a bit too upbeat for this moment.
I think it has...
Or supposed to be mysterious, I think.
I think it has parts of like traditional Asian music in it.
Mysterious revelation.
Yeah.
It's a bit of
a frenetic flair. Yeah, there is a little bit of like anxiety in the way it sounds.
I don't get anxiety at all, but...
I can feel it, but I don't know how to describe it. It's one of my biggest problems I have with music. Like, I can tell you if I like something, but when you ask me, what do you like about it? What emotions does it evoke for you? I'm
the
like,
sound?
It's this sound. I cannot tell you what I'm hearing because I don't know what instrument it is, or I don't know the right words to describe the sound I mean. It does look like that in a way. Nobody really says it out loud, but everybody is suspicious that the Sonozaki family is behind it. That's what I've heard.
But if they really wanted to erase the traitors, they wouldn't have to do it on the night of Watanagashi. Why don't they kill them all at once instead of killing them one by one, using the curse and demoning them away every year? Wouldn't that make more sense?
I've never heard the words demoning away before, but Reina clearly thought they have some kind of creepy significant meaning, so I decided not to cut in.
That means that they're using the series of mysterious deaths in order to resurrect the sacredness of the Watanagashi festival. Step by step, they're reviving the sacred nature of Onikafuji that was lost in the Meiji era. Their goal is to revive the level of belief in oyashiro-sama that used to exist in primitive times.
In primitive time. Music appeals to very primal, inexplicable parts of human nature, like most art. It's a very poetic way of putting it. I agree.
That is true, actually.
Even if you know nothing about music, as long as you can hear it, you will have some sort of like impact by it. But even if you're deaf, you can still feel music, you know? So like
the vibration.
everybody can like consume music, I guess is the best way of phrasing it.
There's
Beautiful.
always something that will appeal to you.
Yeah, like you.
Very sweet.
Believe in Oyashiro-sama. Are you talking about the Furude Shrine?
Yes. Do you think people revere the Furude Shrine now? Older people respect the shrine, but that's it. Kids think of it as a place to play, and most of the villagers think of it as a place to gather for local events. Its sacredness has been lost. But with the dam conflict it started to revive. And they took it as a good opportunity to bring back the cult of Oyashiro-sama.
The music is also giving me cicada.
It's the
trilling, I think, is the right word. There, like that part. No?
It's the vibrating part.
Yeah. So you're saying that some fanatical Oyashiro-sama worshippers are behind all this?
That's what I'm saying. The cult of Oyashiro-sama was managed by the three families to begin with. The three families passed down their ultimate goal of reviving the cult of Oyashiro-sama down to the present generation. When you think about it, you'll understand why the three families took the initiative in uniting the villagers during the dam conflict and why they set up the
start over and
Guardian's
do
office.
it at half the speed, please. Because the moment the font got smaller, you went double time.
Yeah, because that's usually a thing where they start speeding up and things go faster and faster so far. Which is why I did. But it's just to fit the lines.
Okay, fair. I get it, but please.
Which is why I started speeding up.
I see you. Valid. Please do it again.
Imagine.
When you think about it, you'll understand why the three families took the initiative in uniting the villagers during the dam conflict, and why they set up the Onikafuchi Guardian's office and the Furude Shrine, citing Oyashiro-sama, who was almost forgotten at the time.
I gotta say, because of this misunderstanding among other things, I don't like it in this game, or in this chapter, when they start making the text smaller to fit it all on the screen. I understand it's probably some technical limitation, like for the translation, which needed more screen space. They couldn't add extra like line breaks and stuff, or like extra dialogue boxes.
They've always added it into the next one.
Yeah, but maybe they couldn't. Maybe it's hard-coded. So, the three families, I mean, the fanatical Oyashiro-sama worshippers, orchestrated the series of the mysterious deaths of Hinamizawa. But wait, why would they kill Takano-san?
Because she discovered the important secret of this village. The three families have been hiding it since the era of Onikafuchi. If that secret is revealed, the sacredness of Oyashiro-sama will be lost. They found out that Mio-san was getting close to the secret, and that's why they...
Killed her. Killed her.
Oh, killed her. Thought you were just finished. I didn't see the killed her at all.
No, it was one of those stupid moments where the game was stalling. I pressed the button thinking I can autocomplete and then it just went on.
I even looked at the other screen if I missed something.
It was there, but it just for a flash. What's this important secret? I don't care if I put myself in danger. I need to know.
I don't want to tell you yet. I don't want to tell you until I'm 100% sure about it. I'm pretty sure that right now you just laugh.
I also have a really hard time taking the blood red background with white noise from the park. Like that doesn't gel.
Yeah, it's because of the oh they killed her, so you have this ominous moment. But I feel like going just back to the screen they started at in the park would have been...
Yeah, or not have sound. Hey, do you think I'm that kind of guy? Don't make it personal, it has nothing to do with
it. It really is just because of the killed her.
I just need a little more time. I can't accept the truth myself because it sounds so impossible. So I need some time. Please.
I understand.
Don't tell anybody about what we talked about today. Not even Mi-chan, Rika-chan or Satoko-chan.
Okay.
Well, you should go now. I'll take a look around for a while before I go home. I can't be too careful anymore.
Reina ducked low in the bushes and moved away. I was left alone there. The cries of a cicada surrounded around me, making it seem as if I was alone there the whole time. I started walking, still dumbfounded. In the end, Reina didn't tell me the secret because she was afraid of putting me in danger. But she told me clearly that there are people who want to resurrect the cult of Oyashiro-sama, and that they're among the 3 families that control the entire village. They orchestrated the series of mysterious deaths for that purpose, and they killed Takano-san because she got too close to the secret they wanted to hide. Reina met Takano-san and happened to obtain the scrapbooks in which Takano-san wrote about her research. Reina still can't believe the secret written in the scrapbooks because it's just too crazy. Hey, come on, Reina. You're kidding me, right? It's like one of those comic book stories. A mysterious occult group is plotting a conspiracy? I mean, it's not even funny if it's a joke. But Reina is right about one thing. Even if this is true, it's really hard to believe. I understand why Reina wanted to wait to tell me the secret. Maybe she was just fooled by Takano-san. But Takano-san was murdered for real. So it's also true that someone is following Reina. So is it also true that someone is following Reina looking for the scrapbooks? I remember Reina said that a white van was following her. You can see white vans anywhere. I bet there are a lot in this village alone. She might just be oversensitive to everything right now. Reina hasn't recovered from the shock since that day. That's probably why she got the idea into her head that the police or someone else is coming after her. I didn't cut in while she was talking. I think I did the right thing. If I had said that it was ridiculous or something to her face, Reina wouldn't have trusted me ever again. At that point, however, I gasped. A white van was parked on the side of the street. I wasn't sure if this was the same car that passed by earlier since I didn't see the plate number, but the number of people in the car and the ambience of it was similar to the one earlier. And there's one other thing that looked suspicious about it. There was no reason to park here. It was on a small road in the middle of the woods. There's nothing around here. No traffic lights, no vending machines, and no public phones. I probably wouldn't notice it under ordinary circumstances, but I felt something was wrong. What was wrong was probably the one person in the white van suddenly doing this with a tambourine, rhythmically.
In the time of now with mobile phones, I would pretend to get a call and go like, oh, blah, blah, and then you turn around so that you have an excuse to go back.
Yeah. Pretending to be on a phone call is a really good idea. But when you try this or when you do this yourself, make sure your phone isn't set to ring loudly. Like set it to vibrate. Because if you're pretending to be in a call and then suddenly your phone rings, that ain't good. Ominously. Santa, is it you?
Santa Claus is coming to Higurashi
to kill you. Would Hinamizawa's Santa be oyashiro-sama, and would he, instead of reindeers, have parasites?
That would be kind of cool.
That would be disgusting, but also kind of metal. Depends on the parasite's looks, of course.
Mm.
And once I noticed how odd it was definitely suspicious. There were 4 men in work uniforms in the white van. The driver was smoking a cigarette, but the other men were just sitting there doing nothing. If they wanted to take a break or have a smoke, they could have chosen a better place than here. It was possible that they stopped because they had to go to a bathroom really badly, but it didn't seem that way either. There's this one guy in there that really needs to piss, but now there's this weird kid just looking at her freaking
staring
van.
at them.
Is he still there? Yeah, still watching. I can picture it. They didn't look as comfortable or relaxed like they would if they were taking a break. They looked like they were waiting for something to happen. There was a deep tension in that car. Wait a minute, he isn't pissed. Could they possibly be waiting for Reina? No way. I didn't see anybody walking around here. This road is a back road. Nobody really uses this road, let alone by car. But it's impossible. I felt bad for Reina to even think about it, but this must be something that she got into her head because she's feeling victimized or something. She must be imagining things because she's still nervous from when her friends caught her in the act of killing Rina and Teppei.
Ah, finally.
Hey, young man!
I heard someone say that when I passed by the van. He couldn't mean me. He didn't even know who I was.
That's why he says young man and not, hey, Keiichi.
Maebara-san! So I assumed he was talking to one of the other people in the car. I pretended I didn't hear him and I kept walking by. And then he said it again. And honked the horn as well.
Hey, young man, excuse me. Are you on your way home from school?
He had a strong accent similar to that of the older villagers. He must live here, but I didn't know him. I could tell he didn't know me either because he didn't call me by my name. Yes, I am.
You've been walking on this road all the way from school, right? You turned the corner where the stationery store is, right?
Yes. So? They were probably lost, I thought. This village has many small turns and you can easily get lost when you try to take a shortcut. So they must have been waiting for someone to ask for directions. But then he said something disturbing.
Have you seen a little girl?
No, you know what he said that was disturbing? Oh, wah-ah-ah-ah.
Disturbed a band.
Thank you.
Just to...
Every joke gets better with...
Yeah, but otherwise if you don't know, then it seems really weird.
Disturbed. Get down with a signal. Down with a signal. Look it up.
Young man, didn't you see a girl on the way here?
Huh? What?
A girl with a white hat and white clothes, with a purple ribbon on it. Did you see her?
They were definitely talking about Reina. No, I didn't. I wasn't ready to hear them ask that. However, I was scared. That's when my voice got all shaky. Up until that point, I couldn't believe Reina's story. I thought it was ridiculous. I actually laughed, if only to myself. That's why I wasn't ready at all. My heart was beating fast and I was sweating all over. I immediately answered, no I didn't, but it might have sounded like an obvious lie. The driver stared into my eyes. He looked like he was trying to figure out if I was lying or not and my legs started to shake. Can I write down a prediction? Or are you gonna complain again?
What is it? I only complain when you put down something that is obvious.
The people in the white van look for Reina because I cannot type.
She lost her ribbon.
Because they need to get to her house for furniture.
Ah, white van, yeah.
White van, space, 4 people in there looking like they're doing physical labor. They're either there to deliver furniture or to pick up the stuff from the house.
But it also doesn't make sense to ask for the girl, know what clothes she wears.
Why? She was at the store. She probably came along with her dad.
It's not a bad one, but the more I think about it, the weirder that actually is.
Whatever, I like it. I felt like a frog under the glare of a snake and I couldn't move a muscle for a while. But I think the same went for those men too.
Now, by the way, I feel like the music fits really well.
Yeah.
To that moment of being like a deer in headlights.
This is creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
They were clearly a suspicious group and they had just asked a villager about a girl out of the blue. Anybody would get suspicious. And I was right. The man broke the ice and started making excuses before I even asked him why he wanted to know about the girl.
Well, I was asking for no particular reason. We just passed by a girl earlier, but you're a boy, so we were just wondering.
Are you a cross-dresser? Oh, okay.
Please forget it. Sorry for the trouble, young man. We're off.
The man started the engine and drove away. Okay, now it's weird as hell. Now I would get paranoid too.
Yeah.
After they left, I saw nothing. That's right. Nothing. There was no reason why they had to park here. So, are they really waiting for Reina?
Shark attack incoming.
Little bit Jaws, yeah?
You were happily swimming.
Just keep swimming. Oh, that's the end of a chapter. Okay. Lunch takeout list number 2. You want to do it?
No, that's true.
Wow. Furthermore, it's important that we closely monitor her father, since he has also suffered mental shock from a divorce and has been trying hard to take care of a patient. There's a strong possibility that he may develop an induced delusional disorder. As the first step of mental care, one should listen to the patient's story carefully without denying it. That's the most basic of basics. However, when the patient and the listener are related, it's easier for the listener to become deeply influenced by the patient's delusions. Additionally, delusional parasitosis is widely known to make people highly impressionable, and the influence sometimes can spread throughout a whole community. Therefore, even if several people claim to acquire a parasitic infection, it doesn't necessarily prove the existence of a parasite. Some of the phone calls to the healthcare centers for the extermination of pests are nothing but a mass delusion. Since the subject matter of a delusion in this case is extremely rabid, the patients might harm or even kill each other in other abnormal ways. Believing this to be the treatment for the disease, they might also give up hope and commit suicide together, in the worst case. This influential delusional disorder, otherwise known as a shared psychotic disorder, shows particularly strong possibility of influencing close companions. Anyone who is going to contact the patients must be made to understand that the patients are under medical treatment and must be warned not to be influenced by the patient's delusions. Individuals who are likely to be easily influenced are the patient's family members and people who deeply care about the patient, such as boyfriends or girlfriends. Wouldn't it have been amazing if Reina's family actually got those notes and they didn't just flip them around to write down what they wanted to eat? A little bit more? Beautiful idea, I agree. Despite all the tangents we went on, we finished all of chapter 7.
Yeah. It wasn't that long of a chapter.
Damn. Also, I'm now getting into the part where my hair is in this like weird length where, like, look at this. That ain't good. Other people might rock it. I cannot.
It's not your best look like that.
No, this is not great, but better.
No, you look good.
I should apologize, Reina. I don't think I believed you. I'm really sorry about that.
It's okay, Keiichi-kun. I'm just glad we didn't get caught.
Who are they? Are they pawns of those religious fanatics who are trying to revive the cult of Oyashiro-sama?
I think they don't realize that they're pawns, but I'm sure the masterminds are using them as such. They must be the ones who have been pulling strings behind the scenes, ever since the dam conflict.
Please tell me we're not discussing this over the phone, which can be tapped. I heard that people working for the Sonozaki family did something similar during the dam conflict itself.
We're definitely on the phone. Yes. Everyone knows that. Ooishi-san told me that there was a kidnapping incident during the dam conflict. The case hasn't been disclosed to the public, but anyway, someone kidnapped the grandson of the Minister of Construction and coerced the minister into promising to put a halt to the dam construction.
The grandson of a minister was kidnapped? Hey, I've never heard about that before.
The minister submitted to their demands and they made a deal behind the scenes. That's why the incident never went public. Ooishi-san only knows about it because he was in charge of the case.
Okay. And?
We are so Higura back. What chapter are we on again? This
is chapter 8 of chapter 6, Tsumihoroboshi.
And I kind of forgot how many chapters there are in total.
8.
No, episodes.
Well,
oh wait, you asked chapter, never mind.
Yeah. Well, within this one, I'm guessing like 13 13, 14?
Chapter 6.
Around a dozen.
Oh. According to ooishi-san, between kidnapping the minister's grandson and blackmailing him, their tactic were frighteningly advanced. The police know that the Sonozaki family gave orders to the kidnappers, but the case still remains unsolved. At that time, the head of the Sonozaki family, Oryo, had announced a plan to fight against the dam project by force. She even formed a special attack corps using the Yakuza group that's under the Sonozaki family's command.
Also, since we're talking about parasites and paranormal stuff, I found it funny when he said special attack corps. Because it sounds like they're growing zombies to attack.
She was very serious about this plan to put the Ministry of Construction down by brute force if she couldn't stop the construction.
Oh wait, that's me now. Everybody knows that the Sonozaki family had tried to stop the dam project even if it meant breaking the law. So I wasn't so surprised to hear that she had a dangerous plan like that. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mion who came up with the idea. The plan sounded just like her.
In the end, the plan ended up as nothing more than that. But the Special Attack Corps actually did undergo training, and very high-level training at that.
Okay. Well, she had uncovered the information right after the dam conflict ended. At the time, Oreo even said that if a village was going to be submerged, all members of the Onigafuchi Guardians would choose to stay in their houses and drown. So, because Oreo was behind those things, I couldn't just laugh off the idea of an armed assault on the Ministry of Construction. According to the information Oishi seized, she planned a suicide mission as a last resort when the dam conflict started to heat up, in case the resistance wasn't successful. She had actually obtained weapons and put people through training for the sake of that plan. The Special Attack Corps were flown to America, having received a huge amount of money from Oreo for the operation.
Also, is it really pronounced as core?
Yeah.
Really?
That's why I was trying to hold myself back.
I feel like core sounds so much
No,
more...
it's French. It's core. The PS is silent. It's one of those stupid words.
I'll stick to corpse, thank you.
Yeah. Grandma got strapped.
Grandma's pretty badass,
Yep.
actually.
I love how they drag in the USA into this.
Like Colonel. Yeah, I learned that one.
Colon L. Which comes before colon M.
Hey, at least in Dutch we stick to it and it's colonel.
Really?
Yeah.
What's kernel in...
Why would you even call it kernel? It's like a mice kernel. Doesn't even sound...
No, that's a kernel. That's different. What's kernel in German again? Oberst. Which is really...
Basically, the top. The toppest.
Which is really funny because... So, kernel in German is this word. But then... one sec. In Austrian German, Schlagobers is whipped cream.
So if the colonel hits someone, he turns into a Schlagober. Because Schlag is...
A Schlagoberst, yeah. So that would be a type of whipped cream in Austria then. Austria and Switzerland, when they well, they do speak German, but they have their, you know, local intricacies. German. Yeah, it's their own version of German, a little bit. And they changed some words. Like cauliflower in German is Blumenkohl, as in flower cabbage. And in Austria you would call it Carfiol, which I think is closer to the Latin word. But logically it should be Col-o-nel, since they ostensibly run a colonnade. That's too deep, Dark Lord. That makes sense.
I would sign up for that sooner than Colonel.
Yeah. Yes.
You.
Can we sign a petition or something to make that a thing?
Because that just doesn't make sense.
I would be part of a whipped cream boy. In the southern desert of the United States, some retired military soldiers gave them highly professional training. That was probably also in the same place in the southern USA where they built a replica of the Titanic.
A replica of the Titanic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think this joke will go far over my head.
It's not a joke, it's a reference.
Oh.
For scientific purposes.
Oh, I get it.
Do you now get the reference?
I get the reference, but...
I think she's lying.
No, I do know, but spoilers.
Well, the plan was never carried out. The Special Attack Corps became a death squad under the direct control of Oreo after they came back from America. They were involved in many unsolved terrorist incidents, and they succeeded in kidnapping the grandson of a minister as well.
Can't believe Oreo was training in the Nevada desert.
Exactly.
That is hardcore, this woman.
I think that happened a while ago. No, not necessarily. I think Oreo, when she wants to, can really make herself look way younger, almost like she's an Egyptian princess. It sounds like it's from a movie or something.
Do you remember how Michan said that she could do anything, from flying helicopters to using wireless radios? It's actually all true. It seems like Michan joined in their training.
No, Reina, no. I do not think so. Do I believe that Shmion, both of them, have the latent violence built into them because of how they were raised, as in the circumstances? Yeah, I think they could do these things. Did that actually happen?
I can believe Oreo can do it.
So that was all true?
Well, let's put that aside for now.
Oh my
Anyway.
god. This is such an internet argument. So all of the crazy things you're saying are true. Well, that's not the point. Anyway, so what I wanted to say is...
It's not important whether Mian can.
You have to at least believe that the Death Squad actually exists in Hinamizawa, and they're capable of kidnapping the grandson of a government minister.
Source? Trust me, bro. Yeah, source my ass. I didn't take a close look at the four men in the white van today, but thinking about it, they did look professional in a way.
Only when you think about it.
They were pretending to just be taking a break, but I could tell they were tense the whole time. Because they were running late on the delivery of the furniture in the back. I would be tense too if my, end of the day clocking out moment depends on that. So, are they really trying to kill you?
I don't think so. If they really wanted to kill me, I'd be dead already.
Omae wa mo shinu. So, what do they want? Are they after Takano-san's scrapbooks?
Like you saw yourself, the group is very cautious. Unless we show them an opening, they won't resort to force. If they were the type to use force outright, they could have attacked me in my sleep.
They haven't done that yet, so that must mean they're taking it cautiously.
They're probably not sure that I have the scrapbooks. They killed Mio-san and tried to dispose of them. But they found out that the most important ones were missing. They thought she gave them to someone because she knew her life was in danger. Now they think I'm the one who has them. But they're not sure, so they can't resort to violence.
Reina, it sounds like you're playing a dangerous game.
Why not just burn the scrapbooks? Well,
That would make too much sense.
if you're actually trying to find out the truth, I wouldn't do that either.
Why not? Read it, commit it to memory, and then get rid of it.
Yeah, easier said than done. Did you see how much she wrote? It's several.
Yeah, I guess. Fair.
Yeah. I'm a bit scared. But they won't be able to erase me so easily. After all, I'm cooperating with ooishi-san. I've been frequently contacting him in case something happens.
So real quick, so you think... No, sorry, you don't think. You know, you believe in your mind that Oreo has the resources to send a group of people to get guerrilla warfare training, but they don't have the means to tap this phone call? Really?
You might not realize that's a possible thing.
What did he say about them?
He said he'd keep an eye on the Sonosaki family so that he could catch them right away, if they were working behind the scenes.
Did you tell him about the scrapbooks?
No, I didn't.
I think you should. He's an officer. I'm sure the police will help you.
Keiichi-kun, I can't even tell you the secret of this village because I'm not sure you would believe me. I don't think ooishi-san would believe me if I told him any of this.
Reina, let's not make it more confusing than it already is. Just tell me, what is it? What's written in the scrapbooks? What's the secret that killed Mio-san?
Simply put, if the things written in the scrapbooks are true, the god they worship will be dethroned.
Their god? Dethroned?
Yes. The sanctity of Oyashiro-sama will be lost. That's why they want to conceal the truth. They want to resurrect people's belief in Oyashiro-sama.
I can't believe Reina would say titty. Reina, can you explain it a little more simply than that? I'm confused.
In other words, Oyashiro-sama isn't a god.
He isn't? I had no idea what she read that made her so certain, but whatever it was, it'd be sacrilegious for people who believed so strongly in Oyashiro-sama.
There are many teachings of Oyashiro-sama, but the essence is as follows. Don't leave the village and don't let anybody into the village. One could even say the rest of his teachings were developed to maintain those two fundamentals. It really wasn't until later on that they added aspects like love your neighbor or viewing him as a god or viewing him as a god of marriage and domestic prosperity.
The only cell phones at this time would be the size and weight of a medium purse, hence the name shoulder phones. I don't recall that. I recall
it's
those
the ones
huge
in
bricks.
war that you that you carry along on a strap.
Yeah.
Like that sort of size.
In other words, Oyashiro-sama existed solely to stop the villagers from going outside the village. Oyashiro-sama doesn't bless the villagers or protect them from disasters. The people believe that Oyashiro-sama does all of that for them, but the truth is that the people abused his name for that purpose, generation after generation, and nothing more than that. Why did Oyashiro-sama descend in the first place? Because demons came out of Onigafuchi swamp and attacked people.
In fact, that was the wrong interpretation. Demons didn't come out of the swamp and attack people. People became demons and attacked others when they were possessed by whatever came out of the swamp.
By the way, this is 100% true. Never enter a still body of water. If there is no movement whatsoever, if there's no flow in the water, do not go into that.
And there's a high risk of parasites.
That's a
and bacteria.
hotbed of anything that will fuck up your life in the worst ways possible.
Also find a line to save because this conversation's gonna be long.
Whatever came out of the swamp. What do you mean by that? Whatever came out of the swamp possessed people, crawled into their blood, controlled them and turned them into demons. People had no resistance against whatever it was that came out of the swamp. They became demons, attacked the other villagers and turned them into demons as well.
Also don't walk into the swamp. That is also good advice here.
That's right. It was a weird infectious disease that broke out from the swamp. It made the infected people go out of control. The villagers saw this disaster and explained it like so. Evil demons came out from the bottom of the swamp, possessed people and turned them into demons as well. Which is really funny because I think there being something in the water was one of the first things I wrote down as a theory.
Just search for water.
Yeah, I don't know how I wrote it down. There's a chemical being released during the burning of stuff at Watanagashi that caused somebody to go nuts.
Debunked, because that's incorrect.
That's not been debunked yet.
It's not in the water.
I had the details wrong, but the general idea that there's some substance or some such that influences them, at least here, that's what they're going for. I don't believe it. It actually explains the legend. So, was Oyashiro-sama a doctor who came from a foreign country?
Yes. That's not exactly correct, but he was something like that. He came to Onigafuchi and he treated the infectious disease.
Wait a second. Wait a goddamn second. Tifa, can you please put some water in your mouth? Wait, one sec. Let me get my point across first. I need you to put some water in your mouth and then repeat something after me.
Okay.
You ready? Irie-sama. That was too much water. That was more like a gurgling kind of sound. You can swallow now, thank you. Could it be... Again, I don't buy that. I do not. But if we assume for a second that we're going for something here. Irie sticks out like a sore thumb in all of Hinamizawa.
So you think Irie...
No, wait. It's gonna be a second, but wait. Irie stands out. He sticks out like a sore thumb. He is... We don't know his exact age, but he looks really young, and he is the director and I guess like the head doctor at a clinic named after him or his family, Irie being his last name, I believe. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Irie-sama could, if you ask me, be mispronounced as oyashiro-sama.
That's not even close.
It's a bastardization that happened over hundreds, thousands of years. What if, way back, Oyashiro-sama is Irie? Or Irie is a descendant of Oyashiro-sama. I think that makes more sense.
I see how passionate you are about this, but no.
Well, kanji to me look really difficult. What if somebody was trying to write down the name of a person that saved their butts and miswrote the kanji for Irie 2000 years ago? And every couple of years somebody's trying to read the name and it just becomes a different version because it just gets worse and worse.
No, I'm not in line with you on this at all.
Whatever. In his 30s like most adults in the story. Dr. Iri Kioske.
I think it's more a family thing. But yeah, I figured he wasn't 20, I guess. He just looks like he is. But then again, all of them look
Yeah, it's the art style. It's hard for me to tell. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not exactly correct.
Oh wait.
He came to Onikafuji and he treated the infectious...
I've said all of this.
But he couldn't cure it for good.
All his treatment could do was reduce the symptoms of the infection. Villagers could have their symptoms suppressed, but there was no way to kill the parasite that had infested them.
Wait, she didn't say anything about parasite yet, did she?
I would assume it's implied. After a while, the village was divided into two groups. One group was made up of people who were already infected, and the other consisted of the people who weren't. Without a cure for the disease, the uninfected looked down on the people who could only suppress their violent symptoms. They even talked about drowning them in the swamp. But they knew killing the infected people wouldn't solve the problem. Parasites came out of their water sources, including Onigafuchi Swamp. Onigafuchi Swamp was their water source? They couldn't fill them all in, for if they did that, they would lose their access to drinking water. They could have chosen to leave the village, but that was hard for them, for that was the location of their ancestors' graves. Under the power of Oyashiro-sama, infected people could live without showing symptoms. So both those who were infected and those who weren't decided to live together equally and to coexist with a parasite. Oyashiro-sama was impressed by the villagers' decision. He decided to stay there and continue to treat them. That's the true identity of Oyashiro-sama, the benefactor who stayed in the village to protect the lives of both human and demon.
That's right. And Oyashiro-sama made rules in order to ensure the symptoms of the infected people would remain suppressed. The rules were to never leave the village and to never let anybody into the village.
I understand why he didn't want to let anybody new into the village. It was to prevent the parasite from infecting anyone else. But I don't understand why he didn't want people to leave.
Well, same reason.
It seems like the parasite can only live in Hinamizawa because of the climate here. It causes an outbreak of the symptoms in order to prevent the hosts from leaving the village when they try. That reaction is the truth behind the curse of Oyashiro-sama.
Tifa is fidgeting with cable binders. The strongest symptoms of the infectious disease were violence and delirium. The infected people acted just like demons, and the impact of seeing them in the throes of the disease was strong enough to make the others describe them as such. They couldn't even let people leave who had just come to the village. If they had left after being infected, they might go crazy in a faraway land, turn into a vicious demon and cause a disaster. Infected people were never allowed to leave. When an infected person left the village, they brought him back by any means necessary. That was what really meant to be demoned away. But then they were demoned back. This doesn't make sense. Wait a second, Trainer. That means everybody in this village, including you and I, are infected. But nothing happens when we leave Hinamizawa. In fact, many villagers move far away after getting married or something. I've never heard of any villagers who went crazy and turned into demons after they left Hinamizawa.
As a matter of fact, you're right. That's because things went as Oyashiro-sama thought they would. Do you understand? He isolated the village for a long time in order to weaken the power of the parasite.
Hosts are very important for parasites. If something happens to the host, the parasites that live in the host have to share the same fate. In other words, if a host went crazy and attacked people, the host would be captured and killed, which means that the parasites would die with the host too. Not always. I see. You're talking about natural selection.
Good thinking, Keiichi-kun. That's exactly right. As a result of living in this village under such strict rules for a long time, people who were hypersensitive to the parasite went crazy and got killed. The strong parasites that made the infected people go crazy were also killed off due to the host's violent behaviors. As a result, only the parasites that acted nice to people lived on. And that's the explanation behind the mix of human and demon blood that's written in the legend of Oyashiro-sama.
So, that means the parasite is almost harmless now.
Yes. According to Mio-san's scrapbooks, there are actually many people who are infected by harmless parasites. It depends on the local food culture. For example, about 80% of the people who live in a country where meat is a staple food are infected by parasites. But because the parasites coexist with humans without doing any harm to them, nobody notices them, treats them, or tries to get rid of them.
Is that true? I doubt that number. The nice parasite.
They're just trying to live, man.
I see.
In a cozy house. Let's start saving.
Let's start saving. When do we stop saving, Tifa? Yeah, I feel like I was about to quit game.
Maybe save first.
Yeah.
Please save first.
Triple save.
I need to get up early and this is a long phone call as expected.
I feel like now we're also getting into new territory like Harawata Nagashi. Harawata meaning guts.
Well, we've already been into that basically. Actually, no, the guts was about
it was still
about
called
the ritual.
Wata Nagashi then.
That was
Also,
the ritual.
Wata Nagashi or Wata Nagashi?
Wata Nagashi.
I will keep pronouncing it the same way now. Wata Nagashi?
No,
Which
Wata
one?
Nagashi.
Which Nagashi? Wata Nagashi? A good one. It's just one of those days. It is what it is. It doesn't get better today. It's fine. But none of this makes sense.
Well, I'm wondering if this is the truth of this chapter.
Yeah.
Whether this also means it's the truth for the other chapters.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it to begin with. I just genuinely do not believe it. I think this is all horseshit.
Alex, congratulations
on being first. How are you doing?
Perfect timing as well, right at the end. Hope you're doing well.
Happy Wednesday.
Oh yeah, it's Wednesday.
Would I believe that there's something funky going on in Hinamizawa? Yes. Do I believe it's a parasite that somehow makes you like this? No. I think... Oh damn, I forgot! Oh! It's Wednesday, my dudes!
Yes,
Indeed.
it is.
Indeed. Also, I want to apologize for what movement I did. That looked a lot like a US president.
Also, now it's even better because it's almost Thursday.
But then it's not Wednesday anymore, my dudes.
Yeah, but it means we're even closer to the weekend.
That is a good point. I would, however, be willing to go halfway and meet the current plot point there and say that weird super drug that makes you claw out your own throat, that is a parasite.
I think it activates the maggots.
Or it is derived from a parasite's neurotoxins or whatever. That is something nobody knows about it, because it's like snake venom. So to have snake venom, you need a snake, right? And if we assume that whatever this shit causes, assuming there's a parasite, whatever that thing does to your brain, if you can catch a parasite and then milk it, you take a parasite and you go, you milk it. When you drink the parasite milk, and then you go, no?
Yeah, I'll take it.
That's what they do with them, right?
Basically, yeah.
I mean, you also milk snakes.
You do, yeah.
Again, you don't take the snake and go.
I think with a parasite, it will just get crushed.
You could probably just put it in a mixer and blend it.
I'm quite sure that is what they do, and then they take part of it out.
Yeah. Do not drink the parasite milk. I do not recommend it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What if it's strawberry flavored?
Also, one last actual knowledge thing. I want to look up that statistic about how many people have parasites. How many people have parasites from food? That's the AI shit. I don't want that. I hate Chrome. I hate Google so much. At least give me the ability to deactivate the AI overview thing. Why? I want to be lied to by other people on the internet, not by a machine.
Well, according to AI, it's a lot.
According to the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, infections caused by intestinal parasites are widespread, causing significant problems in individuals and public health, particularly in developing countries, with a prevalence rate of 30 to 60%.
That's quite a lot.
Okay, so the 80 could even be not too far off from the truth in the 80s, I would assume. This is
Numbers might have gone down.
This is from August 2021. I would assume with advances in medicine and all that, we might have lowered the number globally. But the 80% is at least plausible. It doesn't seem completely made up. Oh, too far-fetched. Not using
it does seem very high, but...
Okay. Alright. That's crazy. I didn't expect it to be that much.
Well, they just live in you. That explains some of your attitude sometimes.
Fuck you.
It's just a parasite being activated.
Don't do that. No. I'm willing to take that. I'm absolutely willing to take that. But the moment you put on the internet, you're not responsible for your own shitty actions. It's the government. They put them parasites into ya. And then you start acting out because the parasites be making you crazy. Somebody's gonna go, I knew it!
Yeah,
I knew it! Finally somebody has the balls to say it. I've always known this. No.
And we, of course, are a very reliable source of information.
The most reliable source of... No.
But I have done which is the German, so.
Slap your legs, get up and leave. Oh,
which only means one thing. Tja.
Ja, der Abend war schön. It was a nice evening, but all good things must come to an end. Tifa's already moving out of frame. Yeah, bye.
Oh, I'm just sitting straight. Or as the Dutch would say, isn't it time for you to go home yet?
Do you actually say that? I've read that as a meme or as a story. Somebody said, "Oh, Dutch people do this." I've never seen it happen.
As an adult, no. As a kid, quite often, especially like when you used to play at someone's house and it's like close to dinner time. Then you get the, hey, shouldn't you go home yet? Like it's almost dinner time.
Aren't your parents gonna miss you?
Basically, yeah. Like there's a lot of jokes about that, about the Dutch, and it's And a lot of Dutch people go like, oh, I have never heard about that. Yes, it is true.
That's the secrets the Dutch don't want to tell you about.
I guess it's a region thing maybe, but it is 100% absolutely a thing.
Wow.
You wouldn't say it as much to like an adult when you're visiting. You would just tell them to fuck off.
No, I mean I kind of get it because for the longest period of time when I still went to school, when I was like 12 to let's say 16, my best friend would basically after school come over to my place, to my family's place, and then stay with us until like 8 in the evening. He would have dinner with us, we would do our homework together, we would play video games and stuff, and then he would leave. And I never thought about it. It just never crossed my mind. I never thought deeper about it. Until at some point my family told me, his mom called and she wants to invite me on a nice trip as a thank you for all the things we're doing for them. And I still didn't get it. And it actually wasn't until a few years ago that I saw some TV show, I think it was, where parents were talking about, oh yeah, friends are coming over all the time to us, but it would be nice if my kid could also go visit other friends. I'm super happy that he's having friends and that they're coming over, but there is definitely a difference in my wallet whether I need to make food for the 3 of us or for 4 or more people every day. So if we all share that would be great. And then it hit me. Yeah, that's why she called my parents to like, hey, you're kind of feeding my kid like 5 nights a week.
Well,
So-
still didn't have to do that.
Yeah, but
Nice, but
I never thought about it. And again, yeah, true. Funnily enough, that never happened. As in,
the trip.
yeah. Yeah. At some point after like summer vacations, he said he wasn't around. Afterwards we met again. He's like, yeah, I've been to London actually. I was like, okay, cool. Wasn't that the thing your mother mentioned that I was supposed to come along to?
It's a thought that counts, right?
Yeah.
You were there in spirit.
No, I wasn't, but I wanted to. That would have been really cool, but oh well. Now I earn my own money and can go there when I want to.
We just came back.
Yeah, but we could go again. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I will take you on trip to bed.
That sounds great. Please press the button, Tifa.
Pressing.
Thank you everybody for fighting off the parasites and stuff with us. We're back Friday with more Higurashi. Bye.
Bye.